Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
This slams a ball to right field. Way back. Way gone. Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time.
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A rubber match against the best in baseball. The Blue Jays wrap up their series against the AL Central leading Detroit Tigers after a heroic comeback win yesterday. They look for maybe an easier win in the third game of the series today. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host today. Nick Blackmore is our producer. Tom Young and Austin Mackey are our technical directors. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Simcoe and Tillsonburg. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Got an interesting pitching matchup on deck today at Rogers Center. The veteran Jose Barrios, who spent over a decade in the big leagues, will go for the Blue Jays, taking on a former AL Central rival in the Tigers. On the other side, it's potentially the future of Detroit Tigers baseball. Jackson Jobe, the young phenom, hard-throwing right-hander, makes a start today, his 8th start of his major league career. Lineup standings, first pitch are next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Decking isn't just about wood. It's about creating the perfect outdoor retreat, and it all begins with the right materials. Essentials you always find at Trex, the leader in composite decking for over 30 years. Sustainable, durable, beautiful. Trex isn't just decking, it's a lifestyle. From homeowners to pros, everyone knows Trex delivers unmatched quality. Ready to transform your backyard into a dream space? Find Trex at Timbermark, Canada's building center, where your outdoor vision comes to life.
Only Sportsnet and Sportsnet Plus bring you every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Things really starting to heat up.
The quest continues.
There's some bad blood. There's some animosity. There's some rivalries.
For hockey's ultimate prize.
Great players know that playoffs are a time to shine.
Great play and he scores!
Wow! From 16 teams to one champion.
You cannot script this stuff.
Watch or stream every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Blue Jays fans, after this game, get back to what's really important. Your fantasy football team. We're talking about it right now on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and the SiriusXM app.
At Radio Network.
0-1 pitch. Line, right field, base hit! Blue Jays win! Ernie Clement is the hero today as he drives in Dalton Varsho, and the Blue Jays beat baseball's best team with a walk-off single in the ninth.
We're never out of the game. It's so much fun to play for a team that that's the feel, and our pitchers are amazing. So if we can scratch some runs across, we're going to win a lot of ball games. So it's nice to scratch a couple late, and it's even nicer knowing you're never out of the game, even when it's you're down 5-6 runs early. You can always come back. So it's a really special group.
That was Blue Jays infielder Ernie Clement talking after his walk-off single. Won it yesterday for the Blue Jays. They scratched and clawed for those 2 runs, but it was just what they needed to split the series and set up a rubber match today. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. And Chris, you had said this yesterday. It is May 18th today, but that felt like about as big of a win as you could have in the middle of May.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's been very fun to watch this team compete, watch this team come back from 2 runs down, 3 runs down. And it felt like that was a game that needed to be won, especially with the San Diego Padres coming in on Tuesday, the best team in baseball currently in Toronto. That game was a gigantic win, not only in the standings, but I feel like the confidence level is a little bit higher today than it was yesterday. They now realize that they can compete with the best teams, win against the best teams, and you heard it from Ernie Clement. It's fun knowing that you can always come back in a ball game.
Blue Jays will try and add another win to their ledger today, but before we do that, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly, Ontario only. The Yankees lost yesterday. They're 26-19. Red Sox had a walk-off win of their own. 4 games back of the Yankees at 23-24. The Blue Jays 4 games back as well, 22-23. The Rays with a win are 21-24. 5 games back, and the Orioles took the loss yesterday. They're now 10.5 back of the division lead, 15-29. All white uniforms for the Blue Jays, who just got on the field. Who's in the lineup today, Chris, for A.J. Hinch's Detroit Tigers?
Well, leading off is Kerry Carpenter. He's in right field. Batting second is Gleyber Torres. He's at second base this afternoon. Batting third is Zach McKinstry. He's at third base. DHing and cleaning up is Riley Green. At first base, batting fifth is Spencer Torkelson. Batting sixth is Trey Sweeney. He's at shortstop. Behind the dish, batting seventh is Dylan Dingler. Batting eighth is Akil Badu. He's in left field. And batting ninth is Javi Baez. He's in center field this afternoon for the Tigers. On the mound is righty Jackson Jobe. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off and playing shortstop is Bo Bichette. Batting second is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's at first base. In center field, batting third is Dalton Varsho. In the cleanup spot, behind the dish is Alejandro Kirk. Batting fifth is Anthony Santander. He's DHing. At third base, hitting sixth is Addison Barger. At second base is Ernie Clement. He's in the 7-hole. Batting eighth is Nathan Lucas. He's in right field. And batting ninth in left field is Jonathan Clase. On the mound is righty Jose Barrios.
30-year-old Barrios, 6 foot tall, from Bayamon, Puerto Rico. The right-hander weighs 215 pounds, making his 10th start of the season in what's been an up-and-down campaign so far. We saw him go on a nice run, 3, 4, 5 starts in a row maybe, where he had quality starts or put the Blue Jays in a good position. His last one, though, was a bit tough. 5 earned runs on 5 hits, 3 walks in 5 1/3 innings on the 13th against the Rays. He tries to do better today against the Detroit Tigers, who lead off the left-handed hitter Kerry Carpenter. Blue Jays in their all-whites, and Major League Baseball's best to the Tigers in their all-gray uniforms. Carpenter hits left. Barrios brings his hands together, kicks and offers, and the first pitch misses low, ball 1. Time of the first pitch today, 1:38 Eastern. The roof is closed at Rogers Center. 16 degrees, but it feels a lot chillier than that with the wind. It feels like 11 right now. 1-0. Swing and a line drive out to right field. That's sinking, and it's going to drop in front of Nathan Lucas for a base hit.
Kerry Carpenter is a very good hitter. He's been very good this season, almost hitting 300 on this young season, but he takes that sinker down and away and hammers that thing to right field, a leadoff hit for the Detroit Tigers.
Sinker is the main part of the mix for Jose Barrios. Slurve factors in a lot as well. Also has a 4-seamer, a changeup, and a cutter. Likely to see a handful of changes today. It's been a good pitch for him this year, And he throws it a lot to lefties. Tigers have a lot of lefties. Pitch to Gleyber Torres. He's a right-handed hitter, and he takes strike one. Home plate ump today, Steven Yashinsky from Burlington. Marvin Hudson, the crew chief at first. Trip Gibson at second. Ryan Blakeney at third. Barrios peeks over his left shoulder at the runner on first. And now the 0-1. Torres hits it away foul back behind home plate. It was a hanging slurve, 0-2.
The biggest thing for Jose Barrios, I think, for today is just fill up the strike zone. Throw more strikes. He's walked 24 guys this season in just 52 innings pitched. That's not a very good ratio.
No, and much higher than he's really been in his whole career. His 0-2 is swatted out to right center. Dalton Varsho going toward the gap. Lucas circling behind him. Varsho makes a one-handed catch. And there's one out.
And I think the interesting thing, a lot like Brendan Little, is there's a lot of movement on his sinker. So if he can throw it in the strike zone, it's a very barrel up. Start it in the strike zone. Start it almost right down the middle and let that thing work.
Barrios adjusting his cap. It's another day in the camo caps for the Blue Jays. Canadian flag on the left side. Armed Forces weekend around Major League Baseball. Pitch now to Zach McKinstry. Lined left field, base hit. 2 hops and it's into the glove of Jonathan Clase. Carpenter up to second base, and 2 singles here in 3 batters for Detroit.
Well, that was a cutter almost right down the middle that really didn't cut. And what a cutter that doesn't cut becomes is essentially just a BP fastball. It looked like a 4-seamer right down the middle, a cutter that was just spinning, and Zach McKinstry did a good job hitting that ball the other way.
So early traffic for Detroit. They make a habit out of doing this. Alejandro Kirk out in front of the plate to give some signals to the defense in case there's a double steal. It's first and second, 1 out, and Riley Green, the DH, steps up. Left-handed hitter batting .272, 11 homers. The pitch, fouled back 0-1. Tigers have scored first in each of the 2 games this series, and overall this year they have a plus 55 run differential, innings 1 to 3. They often get ahead early, and they have a good bullpen, so they don't lose a lot of leads. That's how they've won so many games. The 0-1, up and in.
I think a good pitch here to Riley Green would be a good changeup down and away. See if he can roll over one and get 2 quick outs and get Jose Barrios back to the dugout.
Barrios looks at second at Carpenter. His 1-1. Fouled back. Elevated the heater. It's 1-2.
They're trying to pound him in. I don't mind that either. Obviously, you need to pound these power hitters in with the fastball, but that one leaked over the middle of the plate. Riley Green actually got a good swing on it. Luckily, he just fouled it off.
Top of the first, no score. 2 on for the Tigers with 1 out. Barrios sets at the belt. Looks back to second. One more look at second. And the offering. Swing and a miss. He got him. Went high and outside with a fastball. Green chased. 2 down.
Well, you could definitely tell that Riley Green wasn't expecting that heater in the count right there. He was clearly expecting a slurve, probably a back foot slurve, or maybe a changeup. A good sequence right there from Alejandro Kirk. You could see him nodding his head, letting him know that Jose Barrios, that was a good pitch.
It was the 4-seamer, but Barrios gets some of that natural movement, so it almost looked like a 2-seamer as it ran away from the bat. Now 2 outs, still 2 on, and Spencer Torkelson up. The first pitch. Low ball 1. This first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Infield shifted toward third base. 1-0. Torkelson started to swing, held up, and it's called a strike on a slurve at the knees. Powerful right-handed swinger Spencer Torkelson asks for time. Addison Barger playing really deep at third, probably about 2 steps away from the outfield turf, and he's hugging the line. Bo Bichette similarly deep and playing in the hole. The 1-1. Driven out to right center field. Going back, Lucas and Varsho. Varsho on the track, pulling up. It's off the top of the wall. In to score, Carpenter. McKinstry gets the wave. He'll score as well. A 2-run double for Torkelson. And again, the Tigers take an early lead. 2-0 Detroit in the first.
Well, Spencer Torkelson has a lot of power, and he's been very good this season at going the other way. That was a sinker on the outer third, and he just hammered that thing into the gap. Actually, not a bad pitch, down and away. But again, Spencer Torkelson, so much power, so good at going the other way. He hammered that thing for an RBI and an early Tigers lead.
12th double of the year for Torkelson, team leading 36th and 37th RBIs of the year. Pitch now to Trey Sweeney. Left-handed hitting shortstop, takes outside, ball 1. Torkelson on second, 2-0 Tigers. 2 outs, top of the first. Barrios with a breath, comes set. And the 1-0. Hit off the end of the bat, a bouncer to third base. Sparger picks it up, throws on to first to get Sweeney, and ends the inning. 2 runs on 3 hits for Detroit. Torkelson's 2-run double has it at 2-0 Detroit, with the Blue Jays about to hit for the first time. Bo Bichette against Jackson Jobe when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL. 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
Breaking news 365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Going back, Varsho slips on the warning track and makes the catch!
Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
22-year-old Jackson Jobe takes the hill in Toronto. 2-0 Tigers as we restart in the bottom of the first inning. For Jobe, his 8th start of the year, 3-0 with a 4.32 ERA. Pitched a little out of the pen last year. This is his first season as a starter. Righty into the wind, offers to Bo Bichette. First pitch hit on the ground, through the hole, past the dive of the third baseman McKinstry into left. Not wasting any time, Bichette jumps on a 96-mile-an-hour heater and has the first Blue Jays knock today.
Well, he hasn't been wasting any time. Bo Bichette, at least over the last couple of weeks, has been jumping all over a first pitch from any starter that he faced. That was a 4-seamer right down the middle, and he hammered it through that hole on the left side.
For Jobe, the mix: slider, 4-seam, changeup, sinker, and curve. Righty set at the belt. His pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. In off the plate, ball 1. Pretty remarkable. Jackson Jobe, 3-0 record. The Tigers have a 7-0 record when he starts for them this year. The 1-0. Broken bat flare headed to center, over the head of Torres in town for a base hit. Not quite the rocket that Bo Bichette hit, but they're both singles, and the Blue Jays have runners on first and second after Vlad's blue.
Well, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will take that every single time. A 98-mile-an-hour 4-seamer in on the hands. Like you said, broke his bat, and he just dumped it out in front of Javi Baez in center field. Now the Blue Jays are in business, first and second, and nobody out in this inning.
2-0 Detroit. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The pitch to Dalton Varsho. High, ball 1. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young and Austin Mackey, our technical directors. Bichette leading off second. Sweeney playing in between Bichette and the bag, the Tigers shortstop. The 1-0. High and outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
If you look at Jackson Jobe's overall numbers, they're not bad, but when you look at his walk rate, it's a lot like Jose Barrios, where you think it could be a little better. 20 walks for Jackson Jobe in just 33 1/3 innings.
And he's not striking out as many guys as his high velocity would suggest. 2-0. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep left field. Badu back at the track. Leaps. and he made the grab. My goodness, Akil Baddoo up against the out-of-town scoreboard in left center, makes the play, take it away extra bases, and there's one down.
What a play by Baddoo. I think the umpires are going to take a look at this one. They're going to see if that ball actually hit the wall before it got into his glove. Maybe they're not.
I think they were waiting to see if the Blue Jays wanted to check, and they do not. That saves at least a run for the Tigers, maybe two. Baddoo raced back, had no time to set himself, and made a backhanded catch, banging into the wall, lost his hat on the play, but made a huge play for his young starter. So 1 out, allowed out for Job's first of the day. 2-0 Tigers, first and second, and the pitch to Alejandro Kirk. In the dirt, blocked by the catcher Dingler. Ball one.
I think because of that high walk rate that Jackson Jobe has, you just have to be patient when you're up there. You can't expect him to throw anything in the strike zone, just like Dalton Varsho did. He got himself in a good hitter's count. He was ahead, and he waited for a four-seam fastball right down the middle, and he smoked it.
The 1-0. Swing and a liner out to left. Baddoo coming in, dives, and he made the catch again. Throws back to second, doubles off Bo Bichette, and that will do it for the inning. Have yourself a bottom of the first. Akil Baddoo helps Jobe get all 3 outs with a leaping catch and then a diving catch coming in to start a double play. No runs for the Blue Jays on 2 hits. They leave 1 on, and we go to the second. 2-0 Tigers. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
NASCAR's biggest stars,
Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano,
Kyle Larson, return to one of its most historic tracks.
Jeff Gordon wins the final race at North Wilkesboro
with $1 million on the line.
$1 million, baby! Woo!
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race from North Wilkesboro Speedway.
He wins the $1 million.
Tonight, 8 Eastern on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90, in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race from North Wilkesboro Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
And it's gone!
Jays fans, this is John Schneider, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
There's the exclamation point for all assembled here at Rogers Center.
Akil Baddoo with a pair of sensational plays out in left field. Blanked the Blue Jays pretty much all by himself in the bottom of the first. So we head to the second at Rogers Center. Still 2-0 for the visiting Tigers. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Jose Barrios back out on the hill, trying to right the ship after giving up 3 hits and 2 runs in the first. He gets the bottom third of the Tiger order. Starts with the number 7 hitter today for A.J. Hinch. It's the catcher, Dylan Dingler. Right on right, Barrios rocks and offers. Swing and a miss, strike 1. This second inning presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. 0-1 offering. Down and away with a heater. He yanked it, 1-1. I don't know which play was better from Akil Baddoo in that first inning. 1-1 pitch. Swinging a deep drive out to left. Clase backing up, turns around. It's off the top of the fence. Coming around first base, Dingler digging for second, slides in there with a leadoff double.
Another changeup. Actually, not a terrible changeup. It was at the bottom of the strike zone. But Dylan Dingler just went down and golfed it almost out of here. Probably about 5 feet from getting in that Blue Jays bullpen out in left field.
It was just at the bottom of the zone. Probably ideally it's below the zone entirely. So a 4th hit already for the Tigers in this game. They had 4 hits total yesterday, as did the Blue Jays. 2-0 Detroit. Runner on second, and here's the aforementioned Akil Baddoo. Right on left pitch. Outside and high, ball 1.
I think you're right with that changeup location. I said it was a decent pitch, but looking back at that replay, with 1 strike, you got to get that thing below the strike zone.
I mean, it was a decent pitch, but it wasn't a great pitch.
Probably not where he wanted it.
The 1-0. Swing and a miss. So Akil Baddoo, if you weren't with us in the bottom of the first, it's first and second, no outs. He just robbed a double from Dalton Varsho. Varsho smoked a ball to left center. Baddoo made a leaping catch on the run up against the wall. Didn't have time to set himself. Jumped back as he was running to the fence. 1-1. High and outside, 2-1. That's probably the better catch, but I don't know what the better play is because the next batter, Kirk, lined a ball out to left. He came in, dove to catch it, popped up and doubled off Bo Bichette at second. The 2-1. Called strike, 2-2. Just the second game of the Major League season for Akil Baddoo, who debuted on the 14th against Boston, went 0 for 3 in that game. Two balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. High, 3-2.
A lot of people are probably thinking, how does Bo Bichette get doubled up there? But I'm thinking, if he doesn't get off a decent amount there, he's doubled up, or he's thrown out at third base anyways. If Baddoo comes up with that baseball, but he doesn't catch it on the fly.
3-2 pitch. Poked foul, a pop-up back behind the plate. Yeah, I guess the liner would have landed close enough to third that if Bichette doesn't have a good jump, that's a force play for Baddoo to throw over there. And he's got a pretty good arm. We saw him throw it to second.
According to baseball rule, you probably stay closer to second base because you don't want to get doubled off. But if he doesn't get off as much as he did, he's thrown out at third base if Baddoo doesn't come up with that baseball.
3-2 pitch again. In the dirt, ball 4. Tossing the bat away emphatically. Baddoo takes a walk. It's first and second, nobody out.
He's pumped up about taking that walk, isn't he?
He's had a good game. Second rounder by the Twins in 2016. He's had parts of a lot of seasons in the big leagues, but hasn't had a lot of extended runs since he was Rule 5'd a couple years back by Detroit. Tough spot here. First and second, nobody out. Top of the second inning, and Jose Barrios will face his brother-in-law, center fielder for the Tigers today, Javier Baez. 2-0 Detroit, top of the second inning. Baez has had a real nice series, had the eventual game-winning homer on Friday against Chad Green. First pitch, called a strike, 0-1. They're brothers-in-law because a pair of sisters. One of them married Barrios, one married Javier Baez. 0-1. Called strike, 0-2. Heard that when the Tigers arrived on Thursday, that Jose Barrios, Javier Baez met up later that night, went out for dinner. But they don't talk baseball when they're facing off. 0-2. Lined out to shortstop, caught by Bichette, diving back to the bag, Dingler to make sure he didn't get doubled off. Baddoo will scamper back to first as well, and there's one out.
That's a big pitch right there, especially against Javi Baez, who's been swinging the bat really well. Slurve down and away for a big first out in this inning.
I mean, he's got to know him as well as anyone. Gets 2 strikes on him and threw a pitch that nearly bounced and got Baez to swing at it.
We've been saying that all series. When you get 1 strike on him, just stay out of the strike zone. He's probably going to swing and miss at a lot of those pitches.
He's a good bad ball hitter, but you'd rather him hit a bad ball than a pitch in the zone. Yeah. So 1 out for Barrios, looking for a ground ball to get out of this jam. First and second, 2-0 Tigers. Top of the second inning. The pitch to Kerry Carpenter. Low ball 1. You had mentioned last time he was up what an impressive year Carpenter has had, up to 299 now after his first inning single. His numbers against right-handed pitching are incredible. 1-0 pitch. Lefty hitter drives it foul deep down the left field line into the 200 level seats. You look at Kerry Carpenter coming into today against right-handed pitching, batting .320 with an on-base plus slugging above 900. If you had those numbers overall, you're one of the best hitters in all of baseball. But he really does struggle against the same-sided pitchers, the lefties, batting .194 with an on-base plus slugging just above 600. Doesn't play a ton against lefties because of it. But in today against the right-hander Jose Barrios. Barrios looks at second. And the 1-1. Lifted to center field, fairly shallow. Left center Dalton Varsho charges in, makes the catch with one hand, and there are 2 outs.
Another cutter, kind of just right down the middle. Doesn't have a great feel for that pitch yet. Little BP fastball. I think he got lucky there that Kerry Carpenter missed that.
Two outs, 2 on. First and second with Dingler on second and Baду on first. And the former New York Yankee, bearded infielder Gleyber Torres is up. Open stance right side. Barrios rocks and offers. Swing and a foul tip. Strike 1.
That big beard almost looks like a Halloween costume. Just because I'm so used to not seeing him with a beard that seeing him with a beard is shocking.
First year not being a Yankee for Torres, who was with the Bronx Bombers from 18 to 24. Had some huge years, especially early in his career. Took over at shortstop, and in 2019 he hit 38 home runs. 3 other 20-homer seasons for Gleyber Torres, but there were some defensive concerns. The 0-1. Check swing, pitch down and away. Peel to first, no swing, says Marvin Hudson. 1 ball, 1 strike. And they had Anthony Volpe come up, and then they make the deal last year for Jazz Chisholm, and there was maybe just a little bit of friction on Torres not really wanting to go over to third base. They had Chisholm go over, and so that seemed to be the writing on the wall when Chisholm was brought in. The 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2. The awkward thing, though, for the Yankees and Torres is he had a tough start to the year. He actually came up big for them, though, in the playoff run when they went to the World Series a handful of times. But he, along with Juan Soto, ending up leaving New York. Clay Holmes, a couple other guys, leaving the Yankees. The 1-2. Down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's always been a solid player, though.
For sure. You know, sometimes things get put under, a lot of the times, things get put under a microscope in New York, and you focus on some of the things he didn't do well, and you forget that this guy's a really good power hitter, especially for a middle infielder. 2-2. Hit on the ground is shortstop. Bichette goes to his left. Underhand flip to Clement at the bag. Clement stops on second and ends the inning. Good job salvaging by Barrios after the double and walk to start the inning. No runs on a hit. 2 left for the Tigers. 2-0 Detroit, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
It's Blue Jays 5, Mariners nothing in the third.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Anthony Santander digging in for the Blue Jays, bottom of the second at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 2-0 the Tigers lead the Blue Jays, and Santander back in there. Did not start either of the last 2 games for the Blue Jays, but he's making his customary hole in the lefty box as the switch hitter bats for the first time today. Santander DHing. Jackson Jobe on the hill. Hard throwing righty, winds and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike one. It's been a turbulent week. Santander had to miss some time after he flipped over the short wall trying to make a catch in Anaheim. Hurt his shoulder. Next pitch, outside. 1-1. Then he came back, but then the shoulder, they said, was a little bit, quote, cranky again. And then yesterday, they had mentioned a left hip impingement. 1-1. Fouled back 1-2. But he was hitting in the cage yesterday, came in, got intentionally walked, so he didn't face a pitch in the ninth yesterday. And in there as a starter today.
And he's taken 2 very big hacks in this at-bat so far. Looks healthy to me.
The 1-2. Popped up near third, circling under it. Zach McKinstry makes the catch beside the bag. 1 out.
And he was actually yelling time as Jobe was in his windup. I'm sure he's going to say something to the home plate umpire here. Yeah, they're about to have a chat. That's too bad for him. You could see he was fighting to stay on that breaking ball from Jobe because he wasn't ready.
Jobe was going pretty quick with Santander. And it wasn't a heated discussion, but he made sure to tell Steven Yashinsky after. 1 out, pitch to Addison Barger. Outside, ball 1. This is the kind of matchup that makes you focus in just a little bit extra. Power on power, Jobe against Barger. The 1-0. Swing and a foul off the home plate ump. Yashinsky, who stumbled back for a moment, caught by Dingler, who still has a hand on his back. 1-1. That's 97 middle in, and Addison Barger, as he never does, did not get cheated on that pitch.
I like this matchup here. Jackson Jobe is liable to leave one over the middle of the plate. Let's see if Addison Barger can run into one.
1-1. Swing and a miss. Big hack on a good pitch. A back foot slider at 93 for Jackson Jobe. 1-2. This is the kind of arsenal that got Jackson Jobe drafted 3rd overall in 2021 at a Heritage High School in Oklahoma City. The 1-2. Down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That is violent action on that slider. Really good back foot slider there. You can tell that he's not a full package yet, but if he can harness all of his pitches, he's going to be really good one day.
2-2, cut on and miss, strike 3. Pulled the string with the changeup at 85, more than 10 miles an hour slower than the heater, and that's his first strikeout today.
Number 22, Ernie Clement.
Let's welcome our future announcer, presented by Rogers' 10-year-old Gabby from Windsor. Announcing Ernie Clement, 2 outs in the pitch. Chopped slowly to third, charging in McKinstry. It's going to be a close play. Throw on to first, skips, but a good pick on the forehand side by Torkelson to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Jobe, 2-0 Tigers after 2 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000-plus home hardware and building center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Ground ball to second. Picked up Jimenez. Flips to Bichette for one. Over to first. Double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Third inning in downtown Toronto. 2-0 is the score in favor of the Tigers. Top of the third starts with Zach McKinstry leading off. He made the last play on the ground out to end the bottom of the second. Barrios' pitch. Hit foul off of Alejandro Kirk, who slams the glove into his left thigh. I think that got him on the tips of the fingers, maybe. It's 0-1. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. There is a buzz around downtown Toronto today, for sure. Can't tell you why, Chris.
Because this is the rubber match of this series,
it
man.
is. Best team in baseball in town. The 0-1. High and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I thought traffic was going to be horrendous coming into the city. I breezed right through the Gardner. I was shocked.
I think on your way home you're going to have some more problems. I know people are going the other way to you, but I think it's going to be a bit of a mess. The 1-1. High and outside. 2-1. Now, if I'm not mistaken, puck drop is 7:30.
For what game?
I don't. Leafs and Panthers Game 7 coming up from downtown Toronto tonight. The people are excited. The Leafs have a great history in Game 7s. Barrios is 2-1. Hit on the ground at first. 2 hops into the glove of Guerrero right near the line, and he jogs to first base, steps on the bag, 1 out.
That was the first good cutter that Jose Barrios has thrown today. He hit his spot. Alejandro Kirk was set up and in. It had good movement on it, good late life, and got the result he wanted.
And the first time today that he gets the first batter of an inning. Gave up leadoff hits in both the first and second, a single and a double, respectively. So 1 out, base is empty. And the dangerous Riley Green is up to the plate. 5th overall pick in 2019. Bearded left-handed hitter DHs today. Barrios offers home. Inside, ball 1. Green had a very rare quiet day at the plate yesterday. Went 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts, and flied out into a double play. 1-0. Fouled back 1-1. If you're wondering how he flied out into a double play, it was in the 9th. Nathan Lucas caught a ball in the left field corner and then threw out Gleyber Torres, trying to tag from first and advance to second. The 1-1. Driven out to left center. Varsho tracking it down. It sinks and bounces in front of him for a base hit.
That's just tough luck right there for Jose Barrios. Made a good pitch, 94 in on the hands of Riley Green, but as we've seen so often this season, he's so strong. He's able to muscle that ball out into center field right in front of Dalton Varsho.
Green didn't reach yesterday. It was the first time that he hadn't been on base since April 27th. Back on base today. He's on first and Torkelson is up. 2-0 Tigers, top of the third. 1 out. Barrios leaning forward to the plate, looks at first and now sets. First pitch. Hit on the ground is short. This could be 2. Bichette picks it up. Underhand flip to second. Clement over to first. Inning ending 6-4-3. double play. Jose Barrios settling in back-to-back scoreless frames, and now the Blue Jays trying to get some momentum going with the bats. 2-0 Tigers, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed strike three and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Network.
Bottom of the third in downtown Toronto, 2-0. The Tigers lead the Blue Jays in the rubber match of this three-game series. Nathan Lucas leads off against Jackson Jobe. The righty winds and delivers. Outside ball one. The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Simcoe and Tillsonburg. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Jobe just put a fastball by Lucas. That'll make it 1 ball, 1 strike. Next offering. Lined left field. Badu started in, now backs up, makes the catch. Don't want to hit it anywhere near that guy today. 1 out.
That one a little bit easier than his first 2 catches, but if nothing else, Jackson Jobe is really fun to watch. A lot of power, and the best part about it is he's young and he has his whole career ahead of him if he can really start to command those pitches.
Only 22 years old. Hasn't even pitched a ton professionally because he's dealt with some injuries over the last couple of years. Brought up late last season to go in the pen. Pitched to Jonathan Clase. High ball 1.
And confident out there. He is a really confident dude for not having much time in this league.
The 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. From Texas, went to high school in Oklahoma. Heritage Hall High School. Sports alums like Barry Sanders, Wes Welker, Buccaneers wide receiver Sterling Shepard. Now he misses inside to Clase. 2 balls, 1 strike. He really broke out in his final year at Heritage Hall as a senior in 2021. Won a state championship. 2-1 pitch is hit high in the air. Deep center field. Baez back at the track. Stops on the edge of the dirt. Makes the catch. 2 down.
I thought he just ran into one. That was a hanging slider from Jobe. Jonathan Clase put a really nice swing on it. Javi Baez catches that thing about 5 feet from the wall in center field.
So 2 down, and welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Timber Mart always has someone on deck to help you with any home improvement projects before you begin renovating. Visit the team at Timber Mart. They've got the know-how to make sure you come out swinging on your next project. Timber Mart, Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 2-0 Tigers, 2 outs, pitch to Bo Bichette. Called a strike. Even though his strike-to-ball ratio isn't that good right now, Jobe went through the first 9 batters in 25 pitches. Next pitch to Bichette, called a strike again.
A little bit shaky with that command, but I think he's just making good pitches when he really has to. That's the difference. Now
17 strikes to 10 balls. 0-2. bounced 1 ball, 2 strikes, which sounds pretty good, but he had thrown 3 straight strikes to get it to that. It was 14 strikes to 10 balls before. 2 hits for the Blue Jays against Job. One of them was Bo Bichette. 1-2, check swing on a slider down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I might be wrong saying this, but Jackson Job looks like a reliever to me. He doesn't strike me as a starter. Everything is violent. Everything is max effort.
Swing and a miss on the 2-2, and he strikes out Bo on a fastball to end the inning. Jackson Job has retired the last 8 that he has faced, and he's kept the Blue Jays bats quiet so far. 2-0 Detroit after 3 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
PGA Championship moments on Sirius XM.
At the 2024 PGA Championship at Valhalla, Xander Schauffele's opening round 62 tied a major championship record, and he never looked back.
Xander Schauffele, the winner of the 106th PGA Championship.
Colin Morikawa and Bryson DeChambeau made furious charges, but Xander secured his first major win 2 months before claiming his second. Listen to PGA Championship Radio all week long on Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
The 4th inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Jose Barrios to Trey Sweeney. Hit foul off the end of the bat, dribbling toward the third base dugout. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside the former Marlin, Pirate, and Yankee Chris LaRue. Blue Jays trailing 2-0 to the Tigers. Top of the 4th. The 0-1. Swing and a drive out to right center. Varsho going back near the track, makes a running catch just before the dirt. Nice play, 1 out.
Never a doubt out there with Dalton Varsho. Not a tough play for him. I thought that ball had a chance to drop. Dalton Varsho with the easy catch out in right center.
It just feels like if you don't clear the wall, you're in trouble. Dalton Varsho tracking down the baseball. 1 out, and Dylan Dingler is up. Infield shifts to the third base side for the pull-happy right-handed hitter. The pitch lifted to the right side, foul territory, giving Chase Nathan Lucas. That drops into the Club 328 standing area. Foul, 0-1.
Have you been down to Club 328?
Not during a game, of course, but
cool.
I went on the Rogers Center tour, so I got to go in there then and try out some of the food. If you watch the news, you might have seen me drop a hot dog on myself in there that got left in.
Wait, is that true?
It's online.
No
you can
way.
find it 100%. Thanks, Lindsey Dunn. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
I need to pull that up.
I'll send it to you. But no, it is cool. I like the giant Plinko and the baseball card wall.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for something like a baseball card wall. 1 out, the 0-2 to Dingler. Check swing, pitch in the dirt, appeal down to first, no swing, quickly signaled by Marvin Hudson, 1-2.
And you feel really close to the playing field. You're standing, actually standing on the field. Well, not on the field, but field level. So you feel like you can yell at the players and say whatever you want to say.
Hopefully all nice things to Nathan
Not
Lucas.
that I condone that.
Right
I don't
now.
condone that type of behavior.
The 1-2. Down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, you're looking through chain link or some netting. You're probably, 100 feet from Nathan Lucas, the right fielder, depending on where you're standing. The 2-2. Lined left field, base hit. Cut off in the gap by Clase. He races over there and tosses it back into Clemente at second, limiting Dingler to a single, but it's a 2-hit day for Dylan Dingler.
Dingler hammered that ball to left field. That was a sinker. They caught it a little bit too much of the plate. They were trying to backdoor it on the black outside, but it ran back over the middle of the plate, and Dingler didn't miss it.
He has been really impressive. Between Job and Dingler, you're looking at a battery that could be dangerous for Detroit for a long time. Dingler on first. Akil Baddoo is up. And the pitch. Outside and low, ball 1. Akil Baddoo, left-handed hitter, 26 years old, from Silver Spring, Maryland. The 1-0. Hit on the ground sharply to second. Clement up with it. Slings it over to second for 1. Bichette to first off the top of Vladdy's glove. It bounces off the front fence of the first base dugout to stay in play. So it'll be a fielder's choice. It was a high throw. Perhaps Guerrero could have brought it in. We'll have a better idea when we see a replay. There are 2 outs and Baddoo replaces Dingler at first.
Well, Baddoo hit that ball really hard to Ernie Clement at second base, and that's really the only way you have a chance to double up. Baddoo has a ton of speed, but Bo Bichette had to deal with Dingler. I think that's interference. You could see Dingler in the replay kind of make a little banana run to second base. Blue Jays should have taken a look at that.
It's a little old-fashioned baseball from Dylan Dingler. I don't hate it. Putting his body on the line there. Now with 2 outs, Baddoo on first. 2-0 Tigers, top of the 4th. The pitch to Javier Baez. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase below the zone, and no reason to put one in the zone now. Ahead 0-1.
What do you think he's thinking here? He's probably thinking, hey, man, come on, we're family. Throw a fastball. Let's go. You're not getting one in the zone, that's for sure.
Step off, throw to first. Hesitation by Baddoo, but he dove back in.
Vlad put that tag on and immediately looked in the Blue Jays dugout. I'm sure they're at least thinking about taking a look here.
John Schneider twirls the finger around, says play on. Baddoo played 21 games at AAA this year. He did steal 4 bases, was only caught once. Barrios looks over at him, now sets. The 0-1. Swing and a soft liner up the middle. Leaping catch by Ernie Clement to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Tigers. 2-0 Detroit, middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
5. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hi, this is Bowden Francis, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on Sportsnet Radio Network.
Pocahontas in the cranberry glades.
Welcome to the Timber Barn broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue on hand. Show Ali, our host. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, Austin Mackey, the technical directors. Bottom of the 4th, 2-0 Tigers. The pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. called a ball. Looked like it got the outside edge at 98. It's 1-0. Guerrero looped a single to center in the first inning. The 1-0. Low, 2 balls and no strikes. He did lose a bat in the process as he broke his bat on the contact. But that's the last base runner the Blue Jays have had with nobody out in the first. It's now bottom of the 4th. The 2-0 pitch. Down and away, ball 3. And a big key so far for Jackson Jobe. He has not walked a batter yet. Walked 5 in his last start and 8 over the last 2 total. 3-0 pitch. Down and in, ball 4. And Guerrero takes a 4-pitch walk.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
7:30 Eastern tonight, the Maple Leafs and the Panthers. Game 7 at Scotiabank Arena. Guerrero on the pitch to Dalton Varsho. Hit foul 0-1.
2 big series deciding games in Toronto today.
Of equal importance. Blue Jays have a suite for that game, I've heard, and I believe most, if not all, of the Blue Jays players will go. The 0-1. Popped up, back behind the plate, foul, out of play into the seats, 0-2.
Ben, I've heard that Blue Jays broadcasters are not invited to that game, so just so you know, so you don't show up.
You didn't get the text to go to the suite? It's a bummer for you. I'll be enjoying the, I don't know, what are you getting in the suite? Lasagna? Something nice. No balls and 2 strikes. Dalton Varsho at the plate. Left-handed hitter 0 for 1, but should have a double if not for a leaping catch at the wall by Akil Baddoo. 0-2 pitch. Broken bat flare out to right field. It's trouble. It's down. Tight rope in the chalk. Vladdy around second, headed to third. Varsho slides into second with the double, and that's baseball. He smoked a ball in the first, didn't get credit. This time he snaps his bat, and he's got a double. It's second and third for the Blue Jays. Nobody out.
He'll take that all day long. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. did a good job waiting to see if that ball would drop. It did. He ends up getting to third base, and Dalton Varsho's at second base.
You put your faith in the baseball gods, they eventually deliver, and they did there for Varsho, giving him the double he deserved earlier. For Varsho, it's his 3rd double of the year, and doubles in back-to-back games.
Wouldn't you want 2 doubles in a ball game, though?
For sure, but you can't get greedy. Infield back, pitch to Alejandro Kirk is down and away, ball 1. Second and third for Toronto, no outs, trailing 2-0, bottom of the 4th. We'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard in terms of baseball scores in a little bit. Ground ball probably scores a run with the infield back. Next pitch, down and away, ball 2. Things snowballing a little bit here in the 4th inning for Jobe. 4-pitch walk to Vladdy, and then a little unlucky there, gives up the bloop double to Varsho. Jobe offers to Kirk. Inside, ball 3.
And this is really the Jackson Jobe that's the 2025 Jackson Jobe. 20 walks coming into the ball game in just 33 1/3 innings. You can see why he has that high walk rate.
His 3-0. Called strike 97 on the outside edge. Looked like Kirk was taken all the way. Now the 3-1. Chopped on the ground and through the left side, a base hit. Guerrero scores. Varsho had to wait for it to get out of the infield. He'll go to third. It's an RBI single for Alejandro Kirk, and it's 2-1 for the Tigers in the bottom of the 4th.
I'm pretty sure Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was going on contact, saw that ball hit the ground, and took off to home plate. A good job from him, but you're right. Dalton Varsho had to wait around second base to see if Trey Sweeney would catch that baseball. Good job from him. He waits and ends up at third base.
That'll prompt a mound visit. The young starter Jobe getting a talking to here with runners on first and third. Nobody out, and Anthony Santander about to hit. 2-1 Tigers, bottom 4. We can do some baseball scores on the out-of-town scoreboard outside of the Leaf game. Tight one on a rivalry weekend series between the Red Sox and the Braves. It's a 4-4 ball game in the top of the fourth at Fenway Park right now. Rafael Devers has homered on his second straight day. He hit a grand slam in the third inning off Spencer Schwellenbach for all 4 Red Sox runs. It's been a little more spread out so far for Atlanta. 2 hits for Verdugo, 2 for Riley. RBIs by Riley, Ozuna, Baldwin, and Albies. 4-4 game at Fenway. 2-1 game for the Tigers here at Rogers Center. First and third for the Blue Jays. Varsho on third. Kirk on first. No outs. And Anthony Santander to hit. Corners are in. Middle infield is back. The pitch. Call to strike. Changeup at the knees.
That's actually a pretty good changeup from Job. A lot of movement through that thing right to the bottom of the strike zone.
Big separation from the fastball. That one 86 rather than the 97. He throws with the heater. A 1. High heat at 96. 1 ball, 1 strike. 16 RBIs so far this year for Anthony Santander. Drove in 102 last year, 95 the year before that. The 1-1. Foul tipped through the change again. Got him out in front, 1-2.
That one wasn't as good. That was a little bit of a floater, floated through that strike zone. Anthony Santander was just a little bit out in front and just missed it.
Santander taps the far edge of the plate. Switch hitter batting left. The 1-2. Lined right field, hooking foul into the netting.
He was all over that pitch, wasn't he?
It's a 96-mile-an-hour four-seamer elevated, and he got out in front of that. He has the unique ability to get ahead sometimes on high-velocity heaters.
It almost seems like he's guessing.
Very well could be. Another 1-2. Check swing, pitch down and in, appeal to third, no swing. He almost went, but he yanked the hands back last second. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He almost went, and that ball almost hit him, actually. That would have been the rare time where you swing at a ball that hits you right in the thigh.
Strike zone struggles here for Jackson Jobe. He's got a walk in this inning, allowed 2 hits. On the day, he's thrown 26 strikes and 21 balls. His 2-2. Powered foul. A pitch in off the plate, and Santander sends it up to the fans in the 500 level seats down the right field line. One of those foul balls that maybe only he and Dalton Varsho are going to hit at this ballpark.
That section will not get another foul ball this year from a lefty.
2-2. Outside, ball 3. Stepped across the plate as he tracked that pitch. Full count.
Pretty good AB so far from Santander. Looks comfortable up there, looks confident.
John Schneider has described him as a feel hitter, a rhythm hitter, and he hasn't established it yet. 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Went back to the change. Had him out in front. 1 down.
Really good time to throw that changeup. I've said this before. If you feel comfortable throwing that changeup, a 3-2 count is a perfect time to throw it. Most hitters are expecting a fastball in that count.
It's a massive first out for Jackson Jobe, keeping the runners on first and third. It's 2-1 Detroit. 1 out, bottom of the 4th. Addison Barger to the plate. He was the first strikeout victim for Jobe today. First of 3. The pitch. Outside and high, ball 1. Although Barger did strike out in the second, part of his development so far this year is he's striking out a fair bit less than he did last year. The 1-0. Outside 2-0.
It's a big count here. You don't want to get antsy. You don't want to get jumpy if you're Addison Barger. If that fastball is not in the middle of the plate or on the inner third, do not swing the bat.
Kirk on first, Varsho on third. Corners in, middle infield back. The 2-0. Lifted high into foul territory, first base side. Playable for Torkelson, who makes the catch leaning towards the netting. Both runners have to hold, then a big second out for Job, 2 down. Went after a slider there, in on the hands. So as it did a couple times yesterday, a big moment slides into the lap of Ernie Clement. First and third, 2 outs. The Blue Jays have 1 run in this inning, but considering the first 3 batters reached, they'll probably feel like it's not a win unless they can at least scratch 1 more across. Again, 2-1 Detroit, first and third. Kirk on first, Varsho on third. 2 outs in the pitch to Ernie Clement. Hit on the ground, past the dive of the third baseman McKinstry, into left field, a base hit. Varsho comes home, Kirk up to second. There's your second run. It's a 2-2 game in the fourth, thanks to Ernie Clement's RBI single.
How about that for Ernie Clement? Stay hot, kid. Just gets a slider over the middle of the plate. Doesn't try to do too much with it. That's the best part about Ernie Clement's swing. He knows what he can do, and he drills it through the hole on the left side for a big run in this ball game.
10th RBI of the year for Ernie Clement. Blue Jays have come back to make it 2-2 after the first inning 2-0 deficit. Kirk on second, Clement on first, and the pitch to Lucas. Called high, 50-50 pitch goes the Blue Jays' way, ball 1. Lucas had good contact in the third, lined out to left field. 1-0. High, 2-0. And just quietly putting together a really nice season at the plate. .254 average. Mid-700s on base plus slugging. When you're looking at bottom third of your order, those are really strong numbers. Swing and a miss on the 2-0. Out in front on the change, 2-1.
The only thing better than a 3-2 change is a 2-0 change. That was perfection right there from Jackson Jobe.
Used the change effectively this inning for sure. But the Blue Jays have got to him. 3 hits and 2 runs in this inning. The 2-1 pitch. Called a strike, 2-2. Lucas steps out of the lefty box, little half swing, and now he's back in there. The 2-2. Chopped to third base. Sunday hop for Zach McKinstry, who picks it up head high and jogs over to third base to end the inning. The Blue Jays tie it up with a pair of runs on 3 hits. It all started with the Varsho double. Kirk had a single, as did Ernie Clement, to make it 2-2 after 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Relive the party anthems, line dances, and cringeworthy slow songs.
You're like a dream come true, and I don't want to miss a thing.
On Prom Radio. Find it in the SiriusXM app on your phone and at home on your computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices. Just search Prom.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The football talk doesn't stop on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
They're mentally tough, they're physically tough, and they're talented.
From OTAs to mini camps and leading up to training camps, stay updated on the latest news around the National Football League.
Got to practice a certain way if you want to be winners.
Our experts are getting you ready for the 2025 season.
For the veteran players, they want to see the guy earn the job.
There's a story for every team on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at desjardins.com/care. today. Fresh ball game after a 2-run bottom of the fourth by the Blue Jays. It's 2-2, Toronto and Detroit, as Jose Barrios strides onto the hill to start the top of the fifth. Top of the order, and the pitch to Kerry Carpenter. Outside, ball one.
It's a big shutdown inning for Jose Barrios. The offense was able to get back in this ball game, and now your job is to throw up a 0.
The 1-0. Rolled over foul, 1-1. After Carpenter hits, we'll go over quickly to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Barrios twists and offers. This one's lifted out to center. Routine for Dalton Varsho, jogging over to the left center. He makes the play, 1 out. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Texas and Houston, one of the rivalry weekend matchups. Jack Leiter got the start today for Texas. Took a no-hitter into the 7th inning with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Yandy Diaz with a solo home run. It's 3-1. Texas over Houston, as Leiter's still out-dueling Framber Valdez right now.
It seems like it's been a pretty fun weekend for them.
I think so. Great pitching matchups in that series throughout. Barrios steals to Gleyber Torres, and he hit Torres and then ricocheted off Kirk. And Torres' head sagged down for a moment. Wasn't quite sure where that caught him, maybe in the left hip. Either way, he has first base. Oh no, it got him higher, more in the chest area.
That's a weird place to get hit, right in the right chest, it looked like. Or maybe the center of the chest. That can't feel good.
It's a place that can only get hit because of the run on Barrios' fastball, really. It has to sneak around your hip and then curl into your chest. So Torres on first base, 1 out. And Zach McKinstry up, left-handed hitting third baseman. Barrios offers. Outside, ball 1. Other out-of-town scoreboard updates. Just been a tough run of games for the Baltimore Orioles. Down 8-0 today in the 4th inning to the Washington Nationals. Washington scored 6 in the second on Zach Eflin of all their pitchers. They've had their struggles, but Eflin's really been the best one for them so far. Maybe Sugano a little ahead. 1-0 pitch fouled back by McKinstry, 1-1. It just feels like things have turned from bad to worse in Baltimore. In Miami, it's the Rays and the Marlins. I believe the Rays shut out the Marlins yesterday. And early on, they're doing it again today. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay, bottom of the 4th. But the Marlins have 7 hits already and are threatening in that 4th inning. 1-1. McKinstry swings and misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Those are all the AL East scores going on right now. And Boston, Atlanta is still 4-4 at Fenway with the Braves loading the bases. 1-2. Popped up foul to the left by McKinstry, out of play. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think a Yankees-Rays rivalry weekend would have been good too in Tampa, because
the battle for Steinbrenner.
Yeah, the battle for Steinbrenner, playing at the Yankees spring training complex.
1-2 again. Swing and a miss, he got him. Slurve down low, and for Barrios, his second strikeout today. 2 outs in the top of the 5th.
That's a good pitch. You could tell that Jose Barrios, outside of hitting Gleyber Torres, has really found that release point, found the command of all his pitches. That last slurve was very good below the strike zone.
2-2 game. 2 outs, Torres on first, and Riley Green at the plate. Barrios' first pitch. Lined right field, base hit. This could be trouble. It's rolling toward the track. Sliding, it's stopped by Lucas. Offers it back into Clement. That will stop the lead runner, Torres, at third. Up to second goes Green with a double, but it could have been a run if not for Lucas making a good play out and right.
Nathan Lucas has played very well out in the outfield so far over the last week or so. Has made some nice plays in left field and a very big play there. I think if that ball gets to the fence, I'm pretty sure Gleyber Torres scores the 3rd run of the ball game for the Detroit Tigers. A great play from Nathan Lucas out there.
While he was sliding, it actually popped up out of his glove, but in one motion, he grabbed it, spun around while standing up, and fired it right to Clement, the lead cutoff. Second and third, though, for the Tigers. 2 outs, Spencer Torkelson up, and the pitch. Slurve, called a strike, caught the knees, 0-1.
And now you have to get nasty. And if you're Alejandro Kirk, you got to be a wall back there. Can't let anything get by you.
Torkelson with a 2-run double in the first, responsible for both Tigers' runs today. 0-1. Downstairs with a Slurve, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And keep in mind, they do have that open base at first base, so you don't have to throw Spencer Torkelson anything in the strike zone if you don't want to.
Barrios brings his hands together at the belt. A look at second at Green. And the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Went right back into the dirt with the Slurve. Good block by Kirk. 1-2.
And you know Spencer Torkelson is thinking, there's no way he throws me another Slurve here.
3 in a row to start this at bat.
No time like the present to throw another one.
Torres on third base. Green on second. Blue Jays just tied it up in the bottom of the fourth. It's 2-2 top of the fifth. With 2 outs, the 1-2. Slurve in the dirt. This time Torkelson lays off. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's all a game up there. Cat and mouse.
Now he wouldn't throw a 5th in a row, would he?
Well, I think Spencer Torkelson is now thinking because he threw 4 in a row, he probably could throw 5 in a row. That's when you throw a sinker right up at the hands.
Barrios set. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Through the change down and in to strike out Torkelson and strand a pair in scoring position. Tie ball game 2-2, middle of the fifth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Later today, it's Game 7 in OKC.
The Nuggets take Game 6. We got a Game 7, baby.
At 3:30 Eastern, the Denver Nuggets take on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder with a spot in the Western Conference Finals on the line.
It's do or die, so you lay it all out there on the floor and live with the results.
Hear home and away local broadcasts of every NBA playoff game on Sirius XM. With nonstop postseason coverage on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the Sirius XM app.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Our bats have been really kind of the way we envisioned them. Jimenez has kind of picked up where he left off in spring, as has Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer is making progress and kind of quieting some people down on the outside with the start he got off to.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
While you're listening to this game on Sirius XM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
At Radio Network.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. 2-2 ball game, bottom of the fifth in the rubber match between the Blue Jays and the Tigers. Number 9 hitter Jonathan Clase leads off. The pitch from Jackson Jobe. Fastball freezes him. Strike 1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. The 0-1. Called strike, 0-2. It's been a slow start to the Major League campaign of Clase, 2 for 22 to begin his year. The switch hitter typically more on base and slugging as a lefty, more average as a righty. Batting left now, he takes a pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. At least that's how it played out for him last year in his year split between Tacoma and Buffalo and Seattle and Toronto.
I just want to see him get on base because we haven't really seen him kind of let loose on the bases yet. He had 15 stolen bases in AAA this season for the Bisons.
1-2 pitch, looped out to left center, charging in Baez. It's down in front of him and Baddoo. Baddoo will field it, and Jonathan Clase is on base to start the bottom of the 5th.
I mean, that's the way to do it right there. Really tough pitch, a changeup down below the strike zone. Jonathan Clase does a good job with that 2-strike approach and just dumps it out into center field. But with Bo Bichette up, I don't know if you steal in this situation. We'll see.
Mark Budzinski back at first base for the Blue Jays today, coaching. He talked to Clase. Now the pitch to Bichette, called a strike, 0-1. We haven't had official word. I don't know if Clase would have an all-the-time green light to steal because he's so prolific, or if he wouldn't because he's so inexperienced yet. Step off, throw to first, and a dive back in by Clase, who was turned facing second base before that pickoff attempt.
Well, you know, Jackson Jobe has looked at the scouting report. He knows that Jonathan Clase can run, so they're going to keep an eye on him over there. He has a big lead right now.
Facing second again. The 0-1, he takes off on the pitch, and it's fouled off to the right, 0-2.
He had that base stolen, too.
He went right away as Jobe started to move. Lost his helmet in the process. Bichette, it looked like, actually tried to hold up on a pitch that was going to be a strike. Maybe he was trying to give Clase the opportunity to steal, but it just hit his bat on the check swing.
I've been waiting 2 weeks for that.
I know.
Thanks a lot, Bo Bichette.
Maybe he'll do it on 2 strikes. 0-2 count, nobody out. 2-2 game with Clase on first. Pitch to Bichette. Outside, ball 1.
That's a good pitch right there.
That had the zone.
If Dingler is set up on the outside part, that's about as good as it gets, right on the black.
Bichette 1 for 2 today, a single and a strikeout swinging. 1-2 offering. Down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. No one throwing, but there's a little stretching in the bullpen in right field for the Tigers. Jobe set just above the belt. The 2-2. Clase takes off. Pitches low, a ball. Throw down to second. Not in time. No tag applied by the second baseman Torres as Clase dives in head first with his first stolen base of the year.
Just like that. A great jump. A great take from Bo Bichette, too, on a pretty good pitch below the strike zone. But Jonathan Clase, everything I've been waiting for, steals that base with ease.
He's like the road runner. His feet get going real quickly, and then he just blasts off towards second. He's in scoring position, and now a full count for Bichette. The payoff pitch. Outside and low, ball 4. Bo Bichette takes a walk, first and second for the Blue Jays with nobody out, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming up.
How about that at bat from Bo Bichette, taking some tough pitches with 2 strikes. I guess Jonathan Clase didn't have to steal second base. He would have been standing at second base regardless.
I'd imagine he won't think about stealing third with the hitter up right now for the Blue Jays. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's 1 for 1 with a single and a walk today. Also a run scored. The pitch. Off the end of the bat, he fouls it off the catcher Dingler. 0-1.
I think that if Jonathan Clase had the green light at first base, he most certainly does not have the green light at second base, especially in this situation.
2-2 game. No outs, bottom 5. Step off, throw back to second, head first dive by Clase. Torres was sneakily creeping in behind him, but Clase had the speed to get back. So attention turns back to Guerrero, who in the first inning extended his on-base streak to 19 games. He's now got 22 hits and 14 walks in those 19 games, being on base 36 times. 0-1, hits the zone at the knees, 0-2.
That's the one right there. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. knows he missed that pitch. A little bit of frustration after that pitch was called a strike.
It was low, but in terms of east to west, it was right in the middle of the zone with the sinker. The 0-2. Way high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Clase on second, Bichette on first. And the 1-2. Swinging bunt near first base. Job Fields, underhand flip to first. Both runners advance. There's one out. Effectively a sacrifice from Guerrero.
Yeah, obviously you want your best hitter to come up with a big base hit there, but not a bad little half bunt there, whatever you want to call it. Moves the runners up to second and third now with one out.
There were definitely worse ways that could have turned out. Blue Jays get runners on second and third now for Dalton Varsho. Left-handed hitter is 1 for 2 today with a double and a run score. Infield coming in. And the pitch. Swinging a liner, caught at second, Torres. Throw back to second, Bichette is in there. And there are 2 down. It's a tough break for Varsho. He tagged that ball, but to the absolute wrong spot, right at the head of Gleyber Torres, the second baseman.
That was an easy play for Gleyber Torres. And you could see the Detroit Tigers that was a late call by A.J. Hinch to bring their infield in. They were all just kind of running at the very last second towards that infield grass, but a good call by the guys in that Detroit Tigers dugout.
So the Blue Jays will need a hit here, or at least Kirk to reach to score a run. First pitch is popped up, foul, headed toward the first base dugout. That one is going to drop into the seats. It's 0-1. Yeah, it's interesting to think if they didn't get in time, would that ball have got to Torres? Would it have hooked past him? We don't know. I lean he still would have caught it, but
maybe a one-hopper.
Yeah, and that could have changed it. Maybe a run comes in. Second and third. Place on third. Bichette on second. 2 outs. And the 0-1 to Kirk. Chop to third base. Into foul territory. It's fielded by McKinstry. Long throw skips over to first in time to end the inning. First 2 reads for the Blue Jays, but they strand a pair in scoring position. No runs on a hit, 2 left. 2-2 game after 5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For our participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family.
What's up, Blue Jays fans? Thank you for hanging out with us this afternoon as our Blue Jays try to take the rubber match against the best team in baseball, the Detroit Tigers, but it's not off to a good start as we're down 2-0. Great to see everybody here in the chat. Tony Lynn, Kerry Vandenberg, Brandon Bernardo, Tate Brown, Mr. Weskers, Roger Lambert. Thank you all for hanging out with us. There's the Shroom and Carmen. I love it. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Are you ready for Game 7 tonight? Are you? Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Have you hit the subscribe button yet? Are you ready for Game 7? We'll be live tonight. And we're live for Game 7 of the Thunder and Nuggets as well. So we'll see you all over the chats today. Thanks for hanging out with us, Blue Jays Insiders. Now, go Jays, go. Come on, Vladdy and Bo and the rest of the Blue Jays. We're looking at you. It's time to get the series win in a series when we're probably not supposed to. Let's go, Blue Jays.
Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at desjardins.com/care today. 2-2 ball game, Blue Jays and Tigers. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Blue Jays had a big opportunity to score in the 5th, could not. Now they'll try to keep it tied with Barrios back out on the hill in the 6th. Right-hander starts with Trey Sweeney, the shortstop for Detroit, and the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Sweeney 0 for 2 today. Ground out to third, line out to center. Waggles the bat above his left shoulder, and the 1-0. Popped up, foul, third base side, over the dugout, way into the seats. 0-1. Pardon me, 1-1. Trey Sweeney, 20th overall pick by the Yankees in 2021 out of Eastern Illinois University. 1-1. Takes a slurve just off the plate, down and in. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Alejandro Kirk did everything he could to try to frame that baseball, and he dipped his head in disappointment that ball wasn't called a strike.
The 2-1. Flipped in the air to left. Calling for it, Clase. Right in the center of left field. He makes the catch with one hand. And there's 1 out. Let's go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 2-2 in this game. Other ALE scores, it's 8-1 for the Nationals against the Orioles. Potential trade guy now coming up at the deadline. Cedric Mullins with a solo homer, his 9th of the year for Baltimore. Well, it's still 8-1 Nats. It's 7-4 Braves over Red Sox at Fenway. That one in the 6th. Barrios with 1 out, offers to Dylan Dingler. Called strike. It's a 3-run 5th inning. 3 in the 5th for the Braves. Michael Harris bases loaded walk. Eli White single. Nick Allen sac fly. Gave the Braves the lead over the Red Sox. Next pitch to Dingler. Check swing. It was outside. Appeal down to first. No swing. It's 1-1. And the other AL East score, Tampa Bay and Miami. The Marlins have taken the lead. Otto Lopez, Canadian. And, of course, spent time with the Blue Jays. Hit a 3-run homer to give Miami a 3-1 lead. Next pitch to Dingler. Runs inside. He jumps back out of the way. 2 balls and 1 strike.
It's always nice to see Otto Lopez doing well.
For sure. Getting a big opportunity with Miami last couple years. 2-1 pitch lined by Dingler down in center field. That's his 3rd hit today.
How about Dingler? He is just so good, so confident up there. Another hard hit, too. Hit that ball right on a line up the middle.
Tigers have 8 hits today. He has nearly half of them. And he entered the game hitting .270. All of our out-of-town scores were brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 1 out, top of the 6th. 2-2 Blue Jays and Tigers with Dingler on first. Akil Baddoo is up, the left-handed hitter. Swings at the first pitch, lines it out to center. Dalton Varsho jogging to his right, makes the catch on the well-struck ball. 2 down. As Jose Barrios continues to work in the 6th, it's been huge that he has pitched this deep into the ball game. He's really reined it in recently after giving up the 2 runs in the 1st. But also the Blue Jays have little on back-to-back days pitching. Rodriguez went the last 2 days. Green went the last 2 days. So not as much bullpen depth today as they had in the previous 2 games. They do have Mason Fluharty warming up. If he pitches, it'll be his 3rd time in 4 days. To his brother-in-law, Javi Baez, Barrios steals and gets a whiff on a slurve. It was fouled off the inside of the right leg of Alejandro Kirk, 0-1.
Alejandro Kirk has been beaten up lately. That was a tough foul ball right on the inside of the thigh. Man.
You know what? He has probably played. It actually hit his left leg. That is tough. He's probably played a little more than we would have expected coming into the year. I mean, he's bordering on 1 off day a week. And he has not taken any of those bumps and bruises to the plate. He's been big for the Blue Jays, especially last couple weeks. The 0-1. Called a strike. Actually missed his spot. They weren't trying to throw a strike, and they did. And they get ahead of him 0-2.
There was just so much movement on that sinker. That might have been his best sinker of the day. 94 miles an hour, too.
2 outs, top of the 6th. 2-2 game, runner on first, and the 0-2. Down and away, Baez lays off.
Before Barrios threw that pitch, you could see Alejandro Kirk pointing at the ground, telling Jose Barrios, hey, bounce this pitch. He didn't bounce it, but it's a good job from Alejandro Kirk, almost forcing him to do that.
Barrios tapping the right side of his head, asking for another pitch comm signal. Set, and the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Jose Barrios, after struggling in the 1st, puts together 5 scoreless innings in a row, and he has kept the Blue Jays in this game. 2-2 is the score, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Stay plugged in to the pulse of pop culture on the SiriusXM app. From exclusive interviews with today's biggest celebrities,
Demi Moore,
that's Lizzo,
Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
Snoop Dogg,
You know how much I love you, Andy.
to unfiltered takes on what's trending from hosts like Alex Cooper and Andy Cohen.
What is up, Daddy Gang?
Hey, everybody, we are live. Plus, daily reality TV recaps, star-studded podcasts, and more.
Salma Hayek.
Only Kelly Ripa can ask me these questions.
Keep up with all the latest entertainment buzz in one place. Just search pop culture in the SiriusXM app.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying. They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Let the games begin.
On SiriusXM, you get all the sports play-by-play you want and all the live sports talk you need. It's always a home game when you listen to the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB on the SiriusXM app.
How good is that?
We fuel your fandom with NASCAR, the biggest college games, PGA, and soccer. And when news breaks, hear instant reaction.
We got a big developing story out of Cincinnati.
The SiriusXM app. Everything a sports fan needs, all in one place. From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app
and Radio Network.
Bottom of the 6th inning, still 2-2 between the Blue Jays and the Tigers. Jose Barrios has gotten the handshake, so his day is done. What a day it was. Gave up 2 in the first, then strung together 5 scoreless innings, and that's why the Blue Jays still have a chance today, despite it not being their best offensive day. It's a 2-2 game. Jackson Jobe, the fellow starter to Barrios, trying to complete 6 innings himself, steps on facing Anthony Santander. The wind and the pitch. Called strike. Threw the curveball over to get ahead 0-1.
This has been a fun series, Ben. A couple of one-run games, and here we are in the 6th inning in a tie ball game.
Next pitch cut on and missed, 0-2. It would be understandable if a lot of Blue Jays fans looked at this series, best record in baseball, and the Tigers coming up, and thought they might have some trouble here. They got a good shot to win the series, 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 96 elevated. Jobe strikes out Santander for his 4th K today.
That was a really nice sequence from Dingler and Jackson Jobe. A couple of fastballs and that really good slider. Tell you what, Jackson Jobe is really impressing me today with that fastball.
Righty offers now to Addison Barger with 1 out. Outside, ball 1. Barger 0 for 2, strikeout, pop-up in foul territory. The pitch. Called a strike. Tilted his head to the side. He wasn't sure about that one. It was a borderline pitch, but looked like it grabbed the inside edge. The 1-1. Outside again, 2-1. In the Toronto bullpen, Mason Fluharty is warming, given the handshake to Barrios. You figure Fluharty pitches the 7th. 2-1 offering. Low ball 3, missed with a change. On the other side, Tigers have a lefty up, Brant Herter. Looks like he's warmed up at this point. He's just waiting for his opportunity to come into the game. 3-1 pitch. Popped up just behind second. Shortstop Sweeney raises his arms in the air to call it in the shallow left center field turf, and he makes the catch. 2 outs.
You could tell Addison Barger was ready for that fastball, that 3-1 fastball, but Jackson Jobe threw a really good pitch down and away at 97 miles an hour. That's just a pitcher's pitch. You got to tip your cap to him.
22-year-old having a very nice day, one of his better days so far this season. 2 outs in his pitch to Ernie Clement. Called strike, 0-1. Now, we mentioned off the top, 7-0 are the Tigers when he starts. The only difference for him today, usually they provide a ton of run support for Job. 0-1, cut on and missed, nothing in 2. In his previous 7 starts, the Tigers have scored 53 runs. That's between 7 and 8 a game. 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Not getting the same treatment so far today. The Tigers have provided 2 in support of Job. It's a 2-2 score. 2 outs, bottom 6. The pitch in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Jackson Jobe being careful with Ernie Clement. He's seen him do some damage in this series.
Clement with an RBI single in the 4th, and yesterday his 2nd career walk-off. 2-2. Low ball 3. Ernie lined one through the right side yesterday to win it for the Blue Jays. His first career walk-off came last year, July 26th, against the Texas Rangers off of the talented closer Kirby Yates. Payoff pitch. Called, strike 3. Just caught the outside edge. Job with a pair of strikeouts in a perfect bottom of the 6th. Tie ball game going into the final 3 innings. We'll have the 7th next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which Looney Dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your Looney Dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which Looney Dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Make no payments for 12 months with the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Apply for a Timber Mart project card today and pay later, 12 months later. Financing provided by Fairstone Financial Inc. Conditions apply. Ask in-store for details or apply at timbermart.ca. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Timber Mart is Canada's building center.
Hi, this is Tyler Heineman, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. 7th inning at Rogers Center and a pitching change for Toronto. Mason Fluharty in the game. 2-2 score. Lefty offers to Kerry Carpenter. Outside, ball 1. Pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Sub-2 ERA for the lefty Fluharty out of Liberty. 1-0. Down and away with the sweeper. 2 balls, no strikes. 18 1/3 innings in a major league career for Fluharty. 7 hits, 4 earned runs. He's walked 5. He's struck out 17. The 2-0. Hit high in the air, shallow right field. Lucas started back. He's sprinting in. Clement going out, but Lucas will make it there on his sprint to make the catch overhead. 1 out.
Well, that was a lazy pop-up out to shallow right field, but that was a tough play for Nathan Lucas. Like you said, it almost looked like he started back, took a step back, and then had to sprint in to catch that baseball for out number 1.
You do hear sometimes when guys get it off the end of the bat, you can't always tell that from the outfield. So they see a big swing, they react. You're always taught, even when you're a kid, first step back rather than in. But Lucas had the speed to cover. Pitch to Gleyber Torres, fouled back, 0-1.
I think it's even more difficult, and granted, I'm never played the outfield, but it's probably even more difficult when you have a power hitter up like a Kerry Carpenter, who, if he gets that on the barrel, it's probably a home run.
Carpenter down to start the 7th. 1 out, base is empty. Torres is 0 for 2 today. He was hit by a pitch. 0-1. Just high. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the third time that Fluharty pitches in the last 4 days. Left-hander didn't go yesterday, but did go on Friday and Thursday against the Tigers and Rays. 1-1. High again. 2 balls, 1 strike. Action in both bullpens as this top of the 7th goes on. 2-1 pitch. Outside, ball 3.
How about Braden Fisher getting loose right now for the Blue Jays? That's going to be a high leverage situation for him.
Yeah, that would be a big spot. I mean, Fluharty's a rookie himself, but he's got about 4 times the appearances in the big leagues that Fisher has so far. Lefties 3-1. Outside, ball 4. Walks Torres on 5 pitches.
Just trying to be a little bit too perfect to Gleyber Torres. You have to trust your stuff, especially in a tie ball game. You don't want to put the go-ahead run on base.
Interesting here. Vladdy's going over to talk to Mason Fluharty, and now Pete Walker is going to go over as well, so Alejandro Kirk will join them. It's going to be a pinch hitter for Detroit. That's part of the reason the visit's happening. They take out the left-handed hitting Zach McKinstry in this platoon-heavy roster. They'll go to Andy Ibanez, who is known as a lefty killer. He'll bat from the right side against Fluharty.
I wonder why Vladimir Guerrero Jr. kind of ran over to Mason Fluharty and had a quick discussion with him even before Pete Walker came out. Maybe talking about Gleyber Torres, if he can steal, what they want to do here in terms of picking off.
Maybe just a leader on the team instilling some confidence. It could happen.
I mean, that's possible. You never know.
Neil Walker never came up to you and said, "You got this, Chris."
After dealing and then just walking one guy? No.
Yeah, I guess it'd be a little early. 1 out, runner on first. Right-handed hitting Ibanez up. Fluharty twists back and deals. Misses high, ball 1. And the throw back to Fluharty goes over his head, but Ernie Clement got in there to make sure that ball didn't skip into center field. Torres on first base can run. 4 stolen bases on the season, although he has also been thrown out on the base paths in each of the first 2 games. 1-0. Sweeper called a ball. That's a great pitch. That should have been a strike. It's 2-0.
Yeah, the Blue Jays are barking from that dugout.
I mean, Fluharty really needed that. He has been scattered over the last 2 batters. Instead of 1-1, here's his 2-0 pitch. Called a strike. 2-1. I guess the other one was called low because that was in terms of east to west in the exact same spot. Lefty looking at Torres at first. Kicks and offers. And this one is chopped slowly to third. This could be trouble. Barger charging. Quick transfer. Fakes a throw to first. He had no play. He's going to eat it. It's an infield single for Andy Ibanez. Torres up to second.
It's better to put that ball in your back pocket and not risk a wild throw to first base. He did a good job. Fake the throw and then quickly turn to Gleyber Torres at second base to see if he was rounding second base. A lot of the times you'll catch base runners off guard. If you do that, you fake the throw and then you look to second base, but Gleyber Torres was standing on the base.
Best chance for the Tigers in a couple innings. They have runners on first and second, only 1 out. 2-2, Detroit and Toronto with Riley Green hitting. Left on left, the pitch. Called a strike. That one might have been high, but this time Fluharty gets the call, 0-1.
That's a big first strike, though, on Riley Green. Getting ahead.
A good day for Green. A single and a double. He's 2 for 3. 2 looks at second from Fluharty, the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Threw the sweeper off the plate, down and away, 0-2.
Go right back there, maybe even further off the plate. Don't give Riley Green a chance to get any kind of contact to that baseball.
Fluharty's set, looks at second, and is 0-2. Down and away with the sweeper. Green flinched but did not swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This could be the last batter for Fluharty. The lefty crusher, Spencer Torkelson, is on deck. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Elevated the cutter. 2 down.
That's a great pitch. That cutter is so effective when he can throw it to the top of the strike zone. A big out for him, but here comes John Schneider from that dugout.
Spencer Torkelson about to hit with runners on first and second, and the Blue Jays will make a pitching change. Brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 2 outs recorded, 1 walk, 1 infield hit for Fluharty. He leaves the game with 2 outs in the top of the 7th, a 2-2 score, and runners on first and second. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. And as we often have and will continue to do until the cup is handed out, we'll start with the Stanley Cup playoffs. Second round beginning to wrap up. We already have 3 of 4 teams in the conference finals. They have the West set and 1 in the East. In the East, the Carolina Hurricanes being the Washington Capitals in 5 games. They await the winner of Leafs Panthers. In the West, the Oilers thumping the Golden Knights in 5 games as well. They will once again take on the Dallas Stars, who beat the Winnipeg Jets last time. 2-1 the final score in overtime. Thomas Harley rifling one past Connor Hellebuck to send the Stars to their 3rd straight Western Conference final. In the Eastern Conference, the Leafs managing to avoid elimination and force a winner-take-all Game 7. They blanked the Panthers 2-0 in Game 6. The series is now back in Toronto. Game 7 will go later tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. You'll be able to watch the game on Sportsnet and the CBC, and after the conclusion of the game, Leafs Talk with J.D. Bunkus, Sam McKee, and Justin Bourne will follow on the radio on Sportsnet Plus and on Sportsnet's YouTube page. We also have a Game 7 in the NBA. Kitchener Jamal Murray besting Hamilton Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as the Nuggets avoided elimination over the Thunder in Game 6. The series is now back in OKC for tonight's Game 7. I guess you should say this afternoon's Game 7, because it starts in about 5 minutes, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action down at the Rogers Center. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Top of the 7th inning, 2-2 score, and Braden Fisher is on for the Blue Jays' 4th major league appearance of his career. Torres on second, Ibanez on first, and Fisher's job is to get Spencer Torkelson and send us to the 7th inning stretch with this score tied. Right-hander looks at second base, kicks and delivers. First pitch breaking ball hits the outer edge, strike 1.
Braden Fisher's been very good over his 3 big league ball games. In his last outing, 2 innings, 4 strikeouts.
Fastball, slider, curve for the righty. The 0-1. Line, center field, down for a base hit. Torres gets the wave. He'll come around third. Throw goes into second. Cut. Throw to third. And they get Ibanez trying to go to third base to end the inning. But the run will score on the single. So the Tigers take a 3-2 lead to the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Are you ready for some football? On Wednesday, May 21st, gear up for football season with the George Springer Replica Football Jersey Giveaway presented by TD. Rush to the ballpark because this giveaway is available to the first 15,000 fans at Rogers Center. It's Wednesday night. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Join us for Cricket Day at the Park, presented by TD, Saturday, May 31st. Arrive early to receive your Blue Jays Cricket warm-up jacket giveaway, presented by TD. Created in collaboration with Cricket Canada. Don't miss out on being a part of the Cricket Day spectacle at Rogers Center. Find your seats at bluejays.com.
It's bonus round time on Get the Dirt. I'm Doug Spade, ready to dig in, Reed.
I'll try pool rules for 1,000.
Okay, before putting in a pool, you need to do this.
Stock up on sunscreen.
SPF 50, am I right? That's incorrect. Daisy?
Click before you dig.
Correct. It's the law to submit a locate request through Ontario One Call before digging for any size project. I'm Doug Spade, reminding you that we all win when you click before you dig.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
George Springer has given the Blue Jays the lead once again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Blue Jays trailing the Tigers 3-2 after Spencer Torkelson came up with an RBI single in the top of the 7th. And now trying to protect that lead, a new reliever for Detroit, right-hander John Brebbia in the game. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian.
Ben, were you watching the end of that play when Andy Ibanez got thrown out at third base? How close it was to Gleyber Torres not scoring on that play?
I didn't see Torres because my attention was on third.
So was mine.
It was close, though?
That's what I'm asking. I don't know how close it was. It seemed like it was pretty close, though.
We're getting the nod that it was close from Daniele Franceschi, who will be on Blue Jays Talk after the game. Pitch to Nathan Lucas. Brebbia misses up high, although that probably should have been a strike. 1-0. John Brebbia, a veteran, has pitched with St. Louis, San Francisco, the Chicago White Sox, the Braves, and now the Tigers. Next offering, high and outside, ball 2. Low to mid-90s fastball, slider, and changeup for the right-hander. Brebbia looks down at the hill, now winds his 2-0. Outside ball 3, very disciplined early on from Lucas. Blue Jays trying to get the tying run aboard here in the bottom of the 7th.
And if you're Nathan Lucas, you are not swinging here, that's for sure.
It's a tough bullpen to come back on. 3-0. Called strike, 3-1. Blue Jays managed to do it yesterday, but going into yesterday's game, the Tigers were 26-0 when leading after 6 innings. They were tied after 6 today, but they score in the top of the 7th. So basically the same scenario. 3-1. Outside ball 4, and the Blue Jays will get the tying run aboard as Nathan Lucas walks to start the frame.
That's a really nice at-bat. Took some tough pitches off the plate outside. Really good plate discipline there from Nathan Lucas.
So Jonathan Clase up to the plate now. We saw the Blue Jays bunt over some guys when they needed it yesterday. You wonder if with the speed of Clase and Lucas on first, they think about it again. Third baseman Ibanez does. He's playing in the pitch. Clase squares to bunt, pulls it back. It's outside, ball 1. By the way, Ibanez at third now. He came in to hit for Zach McKinstry, remains in the game in his defensive position.
I don't know if that was a true sack. It kind of seemed like he was trying to bunt for a base hit there.
1-0, squares, pulls it back, takes a strike.
That was a little bit more sackish.
He doesn't put it out right away, the bunt attempt. He doesn't put it out while the pitcher's in the wind like you would see National League pitchers do a lot of the time. But it wasn't last second either. 1-1, squares, and bunts it back foul into the netting, 1-2. So likely the bunt attempt's over for Clase.
Generally speaking, I think if you're a good bunter, like I'm sure Jonathan Clase is, you probably can get away with maybe a little bit later, showing a little bit later. But for the most part, if you're giving yourself up, you want to just get it out there early and get it down.
Ibanez still a little in with 2 strikes, the 1-2. Called strike 3, 94 on the outside edge, and a very nice bounce back from Brebbia. 1 down.
That might not have been a strike. It might have been just off the plate. Could have been a strike, but again, it's too close to take. With 2 strikes, you have to at least try to foul that baseball off. Jonathan Clase knows that. He's a smart enough guy. You got to foul that thing off.
So 1 out and the top of the order up. Bo Bichette, who's 1 for 2 with a walk. The pitch. Called strike. Nathan Lucas in discussion with Mark Budzinski at first. They're both looking over to Carlos Fablis, the third base coach, who relays some signs. 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lucas was inching his lead bigger and bigger, although Brevia went with a bit of an abbreviated leg kick there, potentially messing up the timing of Lucas, or maybe he was never stealing after all. 1-1. Outside and low. Check swing by Bichette. 2 balls, 1 strike.
This is a point that you've brought up a lot this season. There's a big hole on the right side of the infield. The second baseman is playing shaded towards second base. And then Spencer Torkelson is holding on the runner at first.
Next pitch. Low. 3 balls, 1 strike.
But they're pitching Bo away. It makes no sense.
They're guiding him to hit it.
It makes no sense at all.
Their pitching plan is guiding him to hit it to the opposite spot of where their defense is lining up.
Right.
3-1 count. 1 out. Tying run on first. The pitch. Called to strike. Hit the outside corner. Bichette either just unhappy that was a great pitch or didn't like the call. Sagged his head down to the ground. It's a full count. Lucas taking 3 steps off first. The 3-2. Hit down the right field line, tailing foul into the seats. Still a full count. This 7th inning is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 3-2 Tigers, who led from the first until the 4th. Then it was tied 4th until the top of the 7th when Spencer Torkelson broke open the tie with an RBI single. Payoff pitch again. Called strike 3. Fastball hit the inner third. Bichette goes down looking. 2 outs.
And I think Bo Bichette was just fooled by that pitch. That was a really nice 4-seam fastball. Not overpowering from Brebbia, but really well located down and in. Just 92 miles an hour.
So 2 outs after back-to-back strikeouts. Bottom of the 7th, tying run on first. It's 3-2 Tigers. Pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Outside, ball 1. A single, a walk, and a ground out to the mound for Vlad today, who's also scored a run. 1-0 pitch. Called a strike, looked outside. Looked like the frame was a little obvious there from Dingler, but not to the home plate umpire, Steven Yashinsky, so it's 1-1.
I believe this is his first career big league game behind home plate, right?
We'll give him a break.
Cut him some slack, Ben.
Wasn't that bad of a call. The 1-1. Poked foul. Guerrero reached out for that pitch on the outer edge and hits it into the seats off to the right, 1-2.
Andy's from Burlington. Ben.
Just trying to be fair.
You don't care where anybody's from. You just want strikes to be strikes and balls to be balls.
It's not friends business, it's show business, Chris. 2 outs, 3-2 Tigers, bottom of the 7th. Lucas on first. 1-2 pitch. Guerrero takes it outside. That one well off the plate, 2-2. Brebbia joining the Tigers on a 1-year, $2.75 million deal in February. Pitching in a big spot, 2-2. Down and away, ball 3. Not only does Brebbia have to come after Guerrero now, but Nathan Lucas, who's got a lot of speed, gets a head start off first. Full count, 2 outs. He'll be running on the pitch. Brebbia steps on the hill, and Lucas takes his lead. The 3-2. Down and away, ball 4. Second walk of the day for Vlad. Lucas up to second. The tying run into scoring position, and the go-ahead run on first. That prompts A.J. Hinch to walk out to the mound for what's going to be another pitching change this inning. Brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 3-2 for the Tigers. 2 outs, 2 on for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the 7th. Let's go back to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's check out that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We'll go to Major League Baseball, and instead of checking out some scores, some news. Out of Philly today, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred announcing that Phillies reliever Jose Alvarado has received an 80-game suspension after testing positive for PEDs. Once he does return after that 80-game suspension, he will be ineligible for the postseason. So we'll see who ends up getting the bulk of saves moving forward for Philly. Maybe Matt Strahm gets some run, but a good chance a larger opportunity is found for Canada's own Jordan Romano. 4 saves so far this year. Some news, if you haven't heard, out of the NFL a few days ago. San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy was handed a massive new deal, a 5-year deal worth $265 million. It includes $181 million in overall guaranteed money. Purdy, of course, has been known for being Mr. Irrelevant, the final pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. He was making $2.6 million total over his first 3 seasons. This new deal has a new average yearly salary of $53 million, which means if you do the math, he will get paid more per week under his new deal than he did over the first 3 years of his deal combined. That's a pretty nice raise. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Left-hander Brant Herter is into this ball game with the Blue Jays threatening. First and second for Toronto. 3-2, the Tigers lead. Bottom of the 7th inning. Nathan Lucas is the tying run on second. On first base is the go-ahead run in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And coming up to the plate, left-handed hitting, Dalton Varsho. For Herter, his 13th appearance of the year, 2.38 ERA. Typically, he can be asked to go multiple innings. Don't know if that'll be the case today or if they just bring him in because they want that platoon advantage left on left with Varsho. Blue Jays do have a handful of right-handed hitters on the bench, including George Springer, who's off today, but they decide to stick with Varsho. First and second, 2 down. Herter looks at second at Lucas and offers home. Way up and in. Varsho having to twist out of the way of an 81-mile-per-hour sweeper. Ball 1.
That's a scary pitch. That might have been right at his head. More around the shoulder. That's still scary if you're Dalton Varsho.
Herter reloads, peeks at second, and the 1-0. Chopped on the ground, foul. He rolled over at first base side, 1-1.
I think he might have broke his bat. Walking back to that dugout to get a new piece of lumber.
While he does that, we can quickly look at the baseball standings brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Yankees 26-19, leading the division. Red Sox 23-24. Blue Jays 22-23, both of them 4 back. Rays 21-24, 5 back. And the Orioles 15-29, 10.5 back. Major League Baseball's best Detroit Tigers with Brant Herter on the mound. The 1-1. Fouled away over the netting toward the third base dugout. 1-2.
He's got a lot of deception. His stuff isn't overpowering. Fastball sits 93-94. But he's 6'6", 250 pounds. A lot going on with that delivery.
Sweeper, changeup, complement the sinker. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on his sweeper to strand the threat and end the inning. The Blue Jays have 2 walks, but they do not score. They leave a pair on, and we go to the 8th with the Tigers leading 3-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
This is Mike Farron from Power Alley. When you work together as long as former general manager Jim Duquette and I have,
5 years.
13. Regardless, we know everything about each other, like my favorite city. New York, Chicago. My favorite food.
Hot dog with lots of ketchup.
Gross. My favorite musician.
Billy Joel.
Somehow even more gross. Jim, what do you actually know about me?
You love baseball, just like me.
Join us for baseball talk and apparently very little else on Power Alley, weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern, MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Well said, Mitch.
It's Mike.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Good one today at Rogers Center. Close ball game, 3-2. The Tigers lead, top of the 8th inning. Still Braden Fisher for Toronto, who got the last out of the 7th. Righty offers to Trey Sweeney. Fastball in there, strike one.
This is still a high leverage situation for Braden Fisher. Just his 4th big league ball game. He needs to keep this game a 1-run ball game.
0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike as the curve slipped out of the hand. Fisher acquired by the Blue Jays after they designated Kevin Biggio for assignment last year and then traded him to the Dodgers. 1-1. Curve called high, looked like it had the zone. 2 balls, 1 strike.
I think that's a pretty good return. I like what I've seen out of Braden Fisher.
The 2-1. Hit on the ground, foul, 2-2. If you make a DFA trade, because essentially all the Dodgers are doing is trading a guy to skip the waiver wire line. If you get anything out of a DFA trade, I think you probably take it as a win. And Fisher, only 24 years old, still with a lot of baseball in front of him. Next pitch, high with 96, 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2018 4th rounder by the Dodgers out of a high school in Texas. His pitch. Called, strike 3. Sweeney was getting ready to walk down to first, but that fastball clipped the top of the zone, and there's 1 out.
A little bit of a hanging slider. I think Braden Fisher got away with one there, but he'll take it. A big first strike in this inning. Sorry, big first out.
89-mile-per-hour slider just dropped back in. So 1 down and Dylan Dingler up. He's 3 for 3 today, a double and 2 singles. Fisher's pitch. Fouled back. It's 0-1. Fisher was acquired last year. He was at AAA but struggling with the Dodgers. Blue Jays brought him back to AA with New Hampshire, and he pitched well enough to get himself promoted back to AAA. Now his 0-1 is looped out to shallow right center. Clement going back, makes the over-the-shoulder catch. 2 down.
He's got good stuff. I've said this over the course of his last couple of outings. I really like the curveball, the slider, and his fastball is pretty effective as well in the mid-90s.
2 quick outs here in the 8th inning. 3-2 Tigers, base is empty. Akil Baddoo, the former Twins 2nd rounder, up to the plate. The pitch. Breaking ball inside, ball 1.
Akil Baddoo has essentially won this game. If the Tigers do go on to win this ball game, he won this game for them.
Made 2 plays in the first inning that at least prevented a run, if not more. 1-0. Lifted very high and very foul off to the right over the first base dugout, dropping into the seats. I think luckily for everyone, that one hit the concrete before pinballing back up into one of the sections. Light-colored bat for the left-handed hitting Baddoo. 1-1. Fouls it off of his own front foot. 1-2. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th, Alejandro Kirk, Anthony Santander, and Addison Barger will hit for the Blue Jays. Next pitch, drilled foul, headed to the 500 level down the right field line. That is not a spot fans get a ball often. Baddoo smoked that ball, but he was way out in front of it.
It's an Anthony Santander type of foul ball.
Still 1-2, the pitch. Lined out to right. This one's going to stay fair and get down for a base hit. Cut off by Lucas. A 2-out single for Baddoo.
Have yourself a day, Baddoo. A couple of nice plays in the field. Then he has himself a base hit there. Didn't hit it all that hard, but he got just enough of it to get it out to right field.
That's a big hit. In most lineups, you extend the inning for your 9-hitter. Well, that might not be the most interesting spot in your lineup, but Javier Baez is the 9-hitter for the Tigers, batting .293 even after an 0-for-3 day today. Fisher offers, runner takes off, swing and a miss, strike one, throw down to second, not in time. It tailed off to the right. Ernie Clements did everything he could, grabbing that ball and swiping back, and the Blue Jays are at least looking at it right now. To the naked eye, it looked like the tag didn't even get on.
Yeah, it didn't seem to me like they got Baddoo at second base. I don't think they're going to take a look at this one.
They will not. So a stolen base for Akil Baddoo, his first of the major league season. He's on second with 2 outs. 0-1 count on Baez. Fisher's pitch. Swing and a miss. Threw the slider in the zone, got the whiff from Javier Baez, 0-2.
And now you have to throw that pitch out of the strike zone. In an 0-2 count, do not throw anything hittable to Javi Baez.
Fisher's got a 4-seamer, a slider, and a curve to pick from. A look at second. 2-strike pitch. Bounced a breaking ball. Kirk stopped it, although it skipped a little to his left, but Baddoo didn't take off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sometimes, a lot of the time after bouncing a curveball like that, I would say elevate that 4-seam fastball. But I think Javi Baez is guessing elevated 4-seam fastball now, so you might want to bounce a curveball again.
One-two pitch. Lined and caught on the backhand at short by Bichette, going down to his knees to make the play. Scoreless inning, around a 2-out single for Braden Fisher. Looks like Tommy Kahnle is in next for the Tigers, with Alejandro Kirk leading it off for the Blue Jays. 3-2 Tigers, middle of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swinging a liner, caught at third on a slide by Ernie Clement.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the 8th inning in downtown Toronto, 3-2. The Tigers leading the Blue Jays in the rubber match of this series. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Pitching change for the Tigers, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Right-hander Tommy Kahnle makes his second appearance of the series. He's been great this year. 1.53 ERA in 17 games, but he pitched in the opener and gave up a solo home run to Bo Bichette. Likely won't face Bichette this time around. He starts with the number 4 hitter in today's order, Alejandro Kirk. Kahnle kicks and deals. Called strike.
How about that? A changeup from Tommy Kahnle.
Expected 8 or 9 times out of 10 from Kahnle, who throws a changeup more than anyone else in baseball. The 0-1. Outside with a fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike.
It almost looked like Alejandro Kirk was surprised by that fastball.
I said this on Friday, but it's very Trevor Richards-like. Sets up the fastball with his change. 1-1. Fouled off 1-2. Typically, it's the other way around. You throw fastball, and then you get the guy to swing and miss on the change. But for Kahnle, the other way around, throws 86% or 85% changeups.
And a lot like Trevor Richards, his changeup moves a lot of downward action, good arm speed. So you're really not sure as a hitter if it's a fastball or a changeup. And then at the last second, you figure it out, but that's too late.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Alejandro Kirk. Kahnle's pitch. Bounced over the mound, headed up the middle. It's cut off by the shortstop, Sweeney, but he's got no throw. Stumbling a little bit was Trey Sweeney as he picked it up. He did have a long run, and it'll be an infield hit for Alejandro Kirk. Immediately, Miles Straw comes out of the dugout to pinch run.
Well, I thought Trey Sweeney had a chance to get Alejandro Kirk at first base, but it would have been a tough throw across his body, and I think he just chose to put that ball in his back pocket and not take the chance throwing it away.
I guess you trust one of your highest leverage relievers, your save leader, to deal with a single rather than worry about, what if Kirk gets to second? What if you throw the ball out of play? But now Miles Straw is on, and Anthony Santander is at the plate representing the go-ahead run. Kahnle offers. Misses outside. Santander was taken all the way, it seemed like, on that slide step changeup, 1-0.
I like this matchup here. He's going to see a lot of changeups. Doesn't have the high velocity. Let's see if Santander can run into one.
The 1-0. Fouled back. Slide step again from Kahnle, and he might do that all plate appearance just to try and keep Miles Straw at first. Right-handed pitcher adjusts the sleeve on the undershirt on his right arm, cups his ear for the signal from PitchCom, and now sets below the belt. The 1-1. Check swing, pitch outside. Little hop around from Santander. Juan Soto-esque. It's 2-1. Oh for 3 day for Santander, but he can change the tenor of his day with one swing. And Kahnle's going to step off before throwing the next pitch. Doesn't really look at Straw, though. Straw never went back to the bag. Right-hander set. 2 balls and 1 strike. Nobody out. The pitch. Fouled right back. He just missed that changeup right over the middle. It's 2-2.
He was all over that thing. Maybe a hair out in front, but you could tell he was thinking changeup, waiting on that changeup. Just didn't wait back long enough.
Gleyber Torres now jogging in. Former Yankee teammates in Torres and Kahnle going to have a quick discussion, and now Dingler going out to the mound as well.
He's probably saying, hey, don't throw a changeup right down the middle again.
Yeah. That would be his best advice. This is interesting, though. We talked about it a couple innings ago. Vlad went to the mound before others met him there to talk to Mason Fluharty. And this is a Gleyber Torres initiated visit. Dylan Dingler's just standing there listening. Now Kahnle talking to Dingler.
Gleyber Torres from Venezuela, Anthony Santander from Venezuela. Maybe he knows something that we don't know about a two-strike approach. Who knows? I couldn't begin to guess what that meeting was about.
Torres back in his position in the whole right side. Detroit shifts toward first base because the switch hitter Santander is batting left. Now time is going to be called at the plate by Steven Yashinsky. 3-2 Tigers. Nobody out, bottom 8. Straw on first after Kurt came up with the infield single. Straw in to run for him is the tying run. Santander at the plate, the go-ahead run. 2-2. Low, ball 3. Took the fastball all the way. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
They're trying to elevate with the heater. That's actually a good pitch. That's probably what I would have done. Get him off that changeup a little bit, and now you can go back to it with a full count here.
Barger waiting on deck. The 3-2. Fouled and pops out of the glove of Dingler. Nearly a foul tip strikeout, but instead an extra life for Santander.
He was late on that fastball, too. That fastball was right down Broadway, and he was just a little bit late on it.
That hit about every part of Dingler's glove before falling out, too. So Canley's got away with a couple mistakes, but there's Santander getting a bit of an extra life. Full count, nobody out. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the change, 1 out.
That's a great changeup. You have to tip your hat to Tommy Kahnle just because everybody in the ballpark knows a changeup's coming. Anthony Santander is pretty sure a changeup is coming, and yet you still swing through it, just like Trevor Richards when he was going well.
Big out after the leadoff single. Straw still on first. Addison Barger to the plate. Kahnle's pitch. Lined right field. Foul. Tattooed that ball, but was too far out in front of the changeup. Left middle down. And it screamed into the side netting on a bounce. 0-1.
And now Miles Straw could maybe think about trying to steal second base. Still not sure if he's going to or not in this inning, but with 1 out in this inning, you want to get into scoring position.
Oh, 1 to Barger. Hit on the ground to second. Torres up, spins, throws to second 1. Sweeney back to first, not in time. Throw bounces away into the dugout. And that will give Barger second base. So a fielder's choice, but the Sweeney error does advance the tying run to second with now 2 outs.
That might be the break the Blue Jays need. And how about that? Ernie Clement coming to the plate.
He has come up in some big spots in this series. He had the walk-off hit yesterday after walking the inning before to score the tying run. And today he had the second RBI single in the 4th. That at the time tied the game. It's now 3-2 Tigers, 2 outs, bottom 8. Barger on second. Long look from Kahnle in the pitch. In the dirt, ball 1.
Trey Sweeney, by the way, just threw that ball away. I thought that Miles Straw maybe slid into him a little bit, but watching the replay, it was a wide open lane, and he just threw that ball right into the dugout.
And looking at how the play unfolded, I don't really think he had a chance at getting Barger. Barger on second, the tying run. 1-0. Popped up, foul. That's going to get out of play, 1-1. Ernie Clement 1 for 3 today with that RBI single. Infield plays him mostly straight up. They're shifted a little bit to the pull side. But no one that close to second base, so Barger can get a big lead. The 1-1. Hit on the ground, foul behind the back of third base coach Carlos Fablis. It's 1-2. Double barrel action for the Blue Jays in left field. In their pen, it's Jimmy Garcia and Jeff Hoffman loosening. Likely Garcia if the score stays the same. Hoffman if they can take the lead. 1-2. Bounce to third. Ibanez gloves, throws over to first and ends the inning. No runs on a hit for the Blue Jays. 1 error, 1 left, and we go to the 9th. Tigers clinging to a 3-2 lead. 1 more inning to decide this series. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From backstage to the main stage. The Bills will make you dance. The Welcome to Rockville Music Festival comes to you direct from Daytona. Go. With an exclusive limited engagement channel. Welcome to Rockville. Rockville Radio. Listen now in the SiriusXM app.
Welcome to Rockville is madness.
Including live festival coverage now throughout the weekend on Octane, Channel 37.
So thankful for SiriusXM hooking everybody up.
Thanks, Octane.
Baseball is back. It's former general manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former big league GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The UFC is on SiriusXM. Hear all the action live from the Octagon every weekend on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 9th in Toronto. Tigers 3, Blue Jays 2 at Rogers Center in the rubber match of this series. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Pitching change for the Blue Jays brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Jimmy Garcia into the ballgame. 3-2 for the Tigers. Top of the order in the top of the 9th. Garcia pitching on back-to-back days. Kicks and offers. Kerry Carpenter swings and misses. Strike 1. Carpenter, Torres, Andy Ibanez are due up this inning for Detroit. Righties 0-1. Fastball up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's good velocity right now from Jimmy Garcia. It's a good sign.
One. Down and in, 2 balls, 1 strike. Garcia with a 3.5 ERA this season. 18 innings. He's allowed 7 earned runs, punched out 24 and walked 9. He unleashes a 2-1. Foul tip, 2-2.
97 at the top of that strike zone. That's where he's very good. Really good at locating that fastball at the top and just above.
When he has that zip on the heater, it really plays well for his other pitches as well. It's a 6-pitch mix for the right-hander, much deeper than your average reliever. 2-2. High, 3 balls, 2 strikes. 4-seamer's the main pitch for Garcia. He's also got a curve, sweeper, and slider, sinker, and changeup. The 3-2. Hit sharply, picked up on 1 hop at second by Clement. After backhanding it, he throws over to first for the out.
Ernie Clements looked pretty solid over there. Ever since Andres Jimenez went on the IL, that was a nice play. Ranging to his right, up the middle, then makes a nice throw across his body.
Of course, he has some familiarity. Played a lot of third and short, but it's not the exact same thing, just sliding over to second base. And like you said, he's looked very comfortable. A Gold Glove finalist last year, Ernie Clement. Settles playing up the middle right now against the right-handed hitter, Gleyber Torres. First pitch. Called strike. Dropped in the curveball, or make that the slider to get ahead 0-1. Garcia twists back, 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. 99 up top, 0-2.
That is good stuff right there. Stay right there. No sense in messing around. 0-2.
By the way, Tyler Heineman catching now for Jimmy Garcia. Kirk was lifted for a pinch runner in the bottom of the 8th. So Heineman is in. Straw is out of the game. He was the runner that came in the place of Kirk. Wave going around at Rogers Center. Here's the 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's exactly what they did. Another 99-mile-an-hour fastball above the strike zone. Now you can think about throwing an off-speed pitch here.
Set below the belt. The righty looks to Torres. 1-2. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got a little third of a swing. Check swing from Torres on the elevated here, but couldn't get him to go around. Right on right matchup. 1 out, base is empty. The pitch. Check swing and missed inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Andy Ibanez scheduled to hit next for the Tigers. He's on deck right now with 1 out and Detroit up 3-2, top of the 9th. Heineman asks for time. He's going to go out to the mound.
Probably just trying to figure out what they want to throw here. Do they want to throw an off-speed pitch? Do they want to throw another heater? This is a good mound visit for Tyler Heineman here.
Gleyber Torres, meanwhile, was in conversation with his first base dugout, telling them a little bit about Garcia's pitches. 3-2. High, ball 4, and after getting ahead of him, Garcia walks Torres with 1 out.
Probably not what you want to do, but you also don't want Gleyber Torres to run into one either.
So Torres on first, Andy Ibanez up. Big splits for Ibanez. Ibanez hits much better against lefties than righties. He's going to go right on right with Garcia, and he takes the first pitch for a strike. 0-1. This season, Ibanez hitting 176, no extra base hits against right-handed pitching, 261, 4 extra base hits against left-handed pitching. The righty Garcia is 0-1. Fouled back, 0-2. Ibanez leans back, points his bat out towards center field, and now has 2 hands on the handle. Bat just off of his chest. 0-2. Popped up. Right side of the infield. Ernie Clement swimming his arms in the air. Makes the catch just behind him off to his right. 2 down.
It's a big second out in this inning, especially with Riley Green coming to the plate. Got to make some good pitches here.
It's the 9th inning, and it's brought to you by new pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites, only at Pizza Pizza, actually Canadian. 2 outs, Riley Green up, Torres on first. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Will Vest warming up for the Tigers. Jose Urena getting loose for the Blue Jays with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. 1-0. Lined out to left. Coming in, Clase makes the catch in front of his chest to end the inning. Scoreless frame for Jimmy Garcia. Tigers leading 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Lucas Clase Bichette set to hit for Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep. Because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Hoffman, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you as the Blue Jays trail the Tigers 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning down at the Rogers Center. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk this evening. Daniele Franceschi is alongside. He and I will take your calls and texts. I will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line always open. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. The Jays trail the Tigers 3-2, bottom nine at the Rogers Center. With the call, here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much. Will Vest is on right now for the Tigers. A pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Vest looking for a save. Blue Jays looking for a second straight comeback. They trail 3-2 with Nathan Lucas leading off the bottom of the ninth. The pitch. Low ball one. Vest just missed at 98. His four-seamer averages 97. It's his main pitch by far. Mixes in a slider, a sinker, and a change. 1-0. Called to strike, 1-1. A.J. Hinch using him in save situations now. Velocity noticeably ticked up this year for Will Vest, up 1 to 2 miles an hour depending on the pitch from last season. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Blows 98 by Lucas, 1-2.
It's almost like that fastball just hits another gear. That one just zipped right by Nathan Lucas. Although, 98 miles an hour.
Bearded righty looking in. The 1-2. Fouled back. A 12th rounder by the Tigers out of Stephen F. Austin. And he was a position player in college initially, converted over to being a pitcher. The 1-2. Sprayed away, foul to the left over the netting and into the seats.
He's just filling up that strike zone right now with upper 90s four-seamers. It's almost like Nathan Lucas is just waiting for something off speed, trying to foul off tough pitches.
Lucas, Clase, Bichette supposed to hit this inning, but George Springer is standing on deck. Looks like he'll hit for Clase. 1-2. Way high and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lucas 0 for 2 today with a walk. The pitch. Poked out to left field, and that one is fading into the seats where the wall starts to escalate toward the corner. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Stefanik and Springer, the 2 out of 4 left on the Blue Jays bench. Looks like Springer will get used in a moment. Blue Jays used Straw and Heineman already when they had the tying run aboard to start the 8th. 3-2 Detroit. 2-2 pitch. Bounced over the mound, picked up by Sweeney, the shortstop, running to first. He'll throw the ball over there for the first out.
Well, Trey Sweeney was shaded towards that second base bag, so an easy play for him. I thought off the bat it had a chance to sneak up the middle. Just wasn't hit quite hard enough. Trey Sweeney with a nice running play.
Big cheer from the over 36,000 in attendance as George Springer comes up to the plate. 3-2, the Tigers lead the Blue Jays. Springer batting off the bench here, trying to get aboard, or maybe even tie this game with a swing. Vest in the set, glove at his chest, right on right, the pitch. Low ball 1. Threw the slider over for the first pitch of the at-bat, a pitch he throws about a fifth of the time.
That's a good call right there from the rookie umpire.
Barely missed. 1-0. Called strike, 1-1.
And you can tell they're being careful with George Springer right now. A couple of sliders to start him off.
Springer batting .265, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. The 1-1. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. That was the first time they gave him a look at a fastball. The majority of Springer's hits coming on heaters this year, batting in the 360s. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Swung at a fastball outside at 98. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And that's why they were being careful with him, because of that big swing right there. George Springer's liable to run into a 4-seam fastball.
2-2. Hit foul, high over the netting right side, out of play. .266 home runs in the career of George Springer, over 1,300 hits. Another 2-2. Called strike 3. Springer doesn't like it. It looks like it caught the zone. It was a big miss of the spot, but the backup slider just got over the inner edge.
That's a strike. That's a good call. That's one of those ugly backup sliders that as a hitter you don't like. And obviously George Springer is going to go back to that iPad and say to himself, that is a strike, but that's a tough pitch overall.
2 down, bases empty. Bo Bichette pokes the first pitch foul into the backstop. 0-1. Baseball's best record belongs to the Tigers. They split the first 2 games of this series, and this one has been tight throughout, but the Blue Jays in danger of dropping the set. 3-2 Detroit. 2 outs, bases empty, and the 0-1 to Bo. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Four home runs on the year for Bichette. Swings at the next pitch and misses. Tried to hold up on the high heater. It's 1-2. Blue Jays down to their final strike. Vest in the set. And the 1-2. Hit on the ground to third. This should do it. No! A bobble by Ibanez. Bichette safe at first. And this game will continue for one more batter.
Well, that's the mistake that the Blue Jays have been waiting for. Andy Ibanez bobbles that ball over there. Looked like a routine ground ball. Would have ended this ball game, but here comes Vladimir Guerrero Jr. now with the tying run at first base, and he's the go-ahead run standing in that batter's box. Sorry, the winning run.
1 for 2 day for Vlad. A pair of walks as well and a run scored. The pitch. Down and away, ball 1. This game looked to be wrapped up about a minute ago, but Andy Ibanez couldn't handle the routine grounder. 1-0. High, 2 balls, no strikes. Feels like a time Vladdy's about to get really big. .2-0. Called strike. Good fastball on the outside edge. Decides not to go after it.
That's actually a good take. A lot of hitters would be swinging there at anything in the strike zone, and that wasn't a pitch that he could drive. It was on the black outside. A good take.
2-1. Called a strike at the knees. Guerrero turns away in frustration. 2-2.
That's a strike. It's a good call.
It's a great pitch. So the Blue Jays down to their final strike again. Bichette the tying run on first, winning run in the box. 2-2. Down and away, ball 3. That missed by a fraction of an inch to keep this game going.
Another good call. Who is this guy back there? He's doing well in the 9th inning.
Full count. 2 outs. Bo Bichette will get the head start off first, although he's still held on by Spencer Torkelson. The 3-2. Bounce to the right side. Fielded Torres. Throws to first. The Tigers win 3-2 to take the series in Toronto.
That was a tough loss for the Blue Jays. They had their chances against Jackson Jobe early on, but they just couldn't come through. They couldn't break through to get a couple of runs. But, I mean, what a great series. Every single ball game was won or lost by one run. I really enjoyed seeing baseball's best in the Detroit Tigers.
The name of the game is entertainment. This was an entertaining series for sure, but the Tigers come out on top today, winning 3-2 to take the series 2-1. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, wrap it up and send you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL three-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down to second. They got him.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays fall today to the Detroit Tigers. 3-2 is the final score. Welcome back to Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Jose Barrios and Jackson Jobe faced off today and pretty much went punch for punch. The stat lines for both, the final pitching lines, ended up nearly identical. But, Chris, it was Barrios coming off a tough start who got into trouble early. A 2-run double by Torkelson in the first inning, and that would be the last time in 6 innings that the Tigers got to him. He only gave up 2 in a quality start.
Yeah, he really settled down after that first inning. It was actually pretty impressive how well he navigated this very good Detroit Tigers lineup. But the biggest thing for him, and I talked about this before the broadcast, is just limit the walks, pound the strike zone, limit the walks. He's one of those guys, one of the few guys really in the big leagues that has a fastball that moves so much that he can just throw that thing right down the middle, let it work, and the majority of the contact will be weak contact. I think outside of that first inning, he really did that, really impressed me today. Hopefully it's a step in the right direction for him.
And on the other side, Jackson Jobe, very impressive as well. He went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs of his own. They came on big hits from Alejandro Kirk and Ernie Clement. Clutch hits with runners in scoring position, but neither team would come up with very many hits in their opportunities. Both stranded a good handful of runners. And at the end of the day, Chris, it was the Tigers who had one extra moment in them today. Torkelson again with the RBI single in the 7th. They just got the one knock that they needed to edge past the Blue Jays.
Well, that's the biggest thing, and that's really the difference between a 500 team and a team that's 15 games over 500. You get the big swing in the big situation. You score that guy from second base with 2 outs in an inning. And I think the Detroit Tigers, although they're a very good roster, very good bullpen, have done that the majority of this season. And if you look back at a lot of the games the Blue Jays have lost, it's probably because they didn't come up with a big hit in a big spot. And today is just it just magnifies that issue.
And even beyond the batting average with runners in scoring position, both teams had 2 hits, although their average is slightly different. The difference really comes down to slug in a way, because Torkelson comes up with a double with 2 on in the first inning and then a single. The Blue Jays have 2 singles with runners in scoring position. So the 2 hits for Detroit were 3 runs, while the 2 singles for the Blue Jays were 2. And they lose the game today 3-2 to drop the series. The Tigers end up with 3 runs on 11 hits today, 2 errors committed, 1 in the 9th that nearly ended up giving the Blue Jays a chance to walk it off, but did not. The Blue Jays 2 runs on 7 hits, no errors. Tigers left 10 on, Blue Jays left 9 on. Jackson Jobe sets a Tigers record as they've won all 8 of his first 8 starts in a Detroit uniform. He picks up the win today to go to 4-0. Mason Fluharty has the loss as the eventual winning run was an inherited runner allowed by Braden Fisher to score. Will Vest ties the Tigers team high with his 5th save. This one took 2 hours and 45 minutes in front of over 36,000 at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays lose their 22-24. The Tigers, a Major League Baseball best, 31-16. Blue Jays have a day off tomorrow. They regroup and then take on the San Diego Padres, one of the best in baseball, at Rogers Center starting on Tuesday, 7:07. First pitch, 7:07 Eastern, that is. Hope to see you there. But for now, we still got a lot going on the Sportsnet Radio Network. So stick with us through the coverage up to Game 7, Maple Leafs, Panthers. But thank you so much for tuning in today. For our technical directors, Austin Mackey and Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Joe Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your night. Stick around for Blue Jays Talk and more. Blue Jays Talk with Joe Ali and Daniele Franceschi starts right now on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Well, Daniele, the script of this game is very similar to Game 1 of this series, where it felt like the Blue Jays had a lot of chances. They ultimately didn't cash in on many of them. 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position, 9 men left on base. Barrios was grinding. I mean, he still gave them 6 innings of 2-run ball, and we'll talk about him. But, I mean, once again, consistency just out of reach for the Jays in this one, which is a 3-2 loss to the Tigers. The Jays fall 2 games back below 500. They do lose the series. They are now 22-24 on the year, but it was a very close, I still think entertaining series with the visiting Detroit Tigers, but you can't help but feel like there were a lot of really big opportunities missed in this one.
Oh, I mean, a series defined by missed opportunities, and certainly this game in isolation today, you think about the various times where they got runners on early in innings with plenty of outs to flexibility with outs to play with. They had the first 2 guys reach in an inning 3 times today and amounted all of that into 2 runs. And in fact, one of them was left to the responsibility of Ernie Clement cashing in with an opposite field 2-out single in the 4th inning. So it was there for the taking. And Jackson Jobe certainly gave them plenty of opportunities to do damage. They had a decent game plan, it seemed, at least offensively, to start the game, where attack the fastball. We know he's a guy that wants to throw the heater, and even if it's at 97, 98, sure, stuff is electric. But at this stage of his career, 22 years old, going through the process of trying to become a seasoned major league starting pitcher, he's still learning the ropes. And he's more of a thrower than he is a pitcher in sequencing and location. It's just the stuff is so electric. But he left the door open, He gave them plenty of opportunities. Even as this game progressed and you got into their bullpen, they just didn't have that one timely hit that they so desperately needed. You were just sitting there waiting for that moment. Okay, is it going to come? You got a runner in scoring position. Is it going to come? You have your best players at the plate late in the game. Are they going to deliver? And the answer was, unfortunately, no. In the grand scheme of things, as you alluded to, I would agree. I would concur. It was a really entertaining series, top to bottom, from Friday all the way through to the ball game today in the series finale. And they were separated by 1 run across the 3 games. Yeah. Still, you can't help but feel like you walk away, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, knowing what your schedule entails, knowing you have San Diego coming in here on Tuesday. It's a bit of a missed opportunity when you're playing against a team that has the best record in baseball, and you just cannot come up with that big timely hit late in the game to get you over the top.
The Blue Jays lose 3-2 to the Tigers. The series overall, Detroit 9 runs, the Blue Jays 8 runs, but ultimately they do fall after this series loss to 22-24 on the year. You're listening, of course, to Jays Talk. Show Ali, Daniele Franceschi with you. We're live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666 0590 star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's text line, always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. We will get to Barrios. I do want to talk about him today, Daniele, but it is certainly tough to put this one on him when he only allows 2 runs over 6 innings of work, right? I mean, this one, I think without a doubt, falls on the offense. Jackson Jobe, like you said, showed off the potential, but he was certainly gettable today. I mean, I think you're seeing with Jobe, just because I'm sure we're not going to talk a lot about him, but I think you're seeing why people, even if he has struggled to stay entirely consistent over the course of his very young career, I think you are seeing why people are excited about him. I mean, in Bo's, I think it was his second AB today, Jobe threw him a 97-mile-an-hour slider that ran 19 inches. Like, that is absolutely bonkers. Like, it started as a strike and then broke all the way back in towards Bo, and all he could do was shake his head. Like, I would say nobody gets a hit off that pitch. Not even the game's best pitcher or hitters are going to get a hit off that pitch. So, I mean, you're seeing the tantalizing potential, but he had a lot of traffic today. And the Blue Jays, like you alluded to, just could not take advantage. I mean, I'm by no means saying it's all on Anthony Santander, because Vladdy was up at the plate with a game-tying or even potential game-winning opportunity. Bo, right before him, actually grounded into what probably should have been the game-ending out, and only gets aboard because of a bobble by Ibanez. Like, you needed more from everyone, but Santander 0 for 4 today with 3 strikeouts. I mean, that's a tough look. Like, the whole offense remains inconsistent, certainly, but even with the injuries, hip and shoulder for Santander, that's a real tough go.
No, we definitely need to talk about Anthony Santander. No question about it, because this has become a running theme now. And in April, even going into the first week of May, we could sit back and say, okay, it's okay, take a breath, take a beat, because historically he's always been a slow starter. And statistically speaking, it's not a track record of 1 or 2 years. No. There's an extensive track record there with this guy having very, very, very pedestrian production in the month of April throughout his career. But then once May rolls around, weather gets better, a little bit more seasoned in terms of just seeing more pitches and getting more at-bats, getting more comfortable, he was taken off. Well, it's now the middle of May, effectively, and he still looks completely bewildered in the box. And in fact, Joe, I'd kind of argue it looks worse, right? Like, he's being fooled a lot. And I think to the last at-bat where he had, it was his second 8-pitch at-bat of the day, resulting in a strikeout, as you mentioned, the third of the day for him after going 0 for 4 to cap an 0 for 4 day. And the sequencing of the pitches, right? He's just doesn't know what he's looking for in the box, right? He's swinging in fastball counts. He's waiting for off-speed pitches, and in off-speed counts, he's looking for fastballs. It's just confusing to see a player and a hitter of that pedigree look so dysfunctional, look so uncomfortable in the box. And it is really alarming. It really is alarming, because what was giving me hope in the first month of the season, really the first 5 weeks before we had the bizarre situation with his injury or omission from the lineup within this last 7-8 day period, what was giving me hope is that even though he was striking out a lot and wasn't hitting for average, you still saw the glimpses where when he is making contact, boy, is that ball flying off his bat. We're not seeing it as much lately in that regard, right? So that in and of itself is a red flag for me. Admittedly, I am a little bit concerned. I was preaching for the first 4 weeks, hey, don't worry about it. Don't be too concerned about it. But I'm worried. I'm worried about what we're seeing from Anthony Santander and the quality of at-bats that he's putting together. And Joe, it's also indicative of how they're feeling internally right now. You know, today he hit 5th. But effectively, if George Springer's in the lineup, what it means is he would be probably hitting 6th in the order. So they clearly know he's got some things he needs to iron out here, and he needs to gain some confidence fast, because they desperately need that bat and his production.
Yeah, and what now? 46 games played this season. Yeah, I'm with you that I'm past the idea that he's a slow starter. I mean, and sure, maybe he still is, but it's May 18th today, and we're well past the quarter pole mark of the season. So if that's the case, then I'm out on the idea that it's a slow start. It has now gone from a slow start to a bad start. Mike in Victoria on the text line, 590-590, name and location, is simple. No more talk of slow start for Santander. Between spring training and regular season games, Jays have played 74 games. Next year, let's move him lower till at least he can be above the Mendoza line. And I think what Mike is saying is, a lot of people have texted in to say, well, if you know he's a slow starter, don't bat him third every single game. And I understand the desire, because when he is not batting like he's not hitting like he is right now, if you're heading him behind Vladdy, it makes a lot of sense. The only problem is when you're not getting a ton of power from Bo, Vladdy, or Santander, it looks real bad, right? I can't help but think back to the offseason, and Barker said this a billion times, that the team needed not one but two thumpers, right? And that's one of my favorite words that Barker says, thumpers, and the Jays went out there and they got one. But when your thumper, your big prized free agent acquisition, is not even hitting like for average, when he's not even hitting at anything considered close to an MLB replacement level. Like, he's hitting close to a level where you'd like DFA most guys if they didn't have so much money attached to him, right? So when that's what you're getting out of the big free agent acquisition, and you're not getting much from anywhere else. I said this a million times, but you have to walk the tightrope so finely to the point where even a grindy, gutted out start from Barrios that ultimately only allowed 2 runs still isn't good enough.
Yeah, it's what we talked about before the game too, because it's great we can highlight a lot of the excellent contributions from the bottom half of your lineup and guys that are really making a positive impression, whether it's a Nathan Lucas, obviously Alejandro Kirk in this recent stretch where he's been really good, even George Springer being unexpectedly great for the first 6 weeks of the season. And you can talk yourself into some of these other guys that are showing you something. That's great, but it means nothing if the main contributors, the key cogs in your lineup, aren't doing it. If they aren't delivering, you're going to be in trouble. It's as simple as that, Joe. And I think even from Santander's perspective, I'm glad you referenced what Barker always talks about and what he's been preaching, going back to last October, really even middle of last season when we had to start looking ahead and saying they need not one guy. They need 2 guys. They need 2 thumpers that you can pair with Vlad and Bo to make you feel good about the top 4 guys in your order. And you feel like you have a little bit more length and depth. And why it's important? They went and they spent on Santander. But you can't tell me that he's not gripping the bat a little bit tighter and he's not feeling the weight, right? He's not feeling like he has a boulder on his shoulder right now, because he knows they are desperately relying on him to provide power. They explicitly signed him for the sole purpose of hitting the ball over the fence and driving runs in. That's why he's here. And it's difficult for him to also carry that weight around, because Vlad and Bo, statistically speaking, have been fine. Their numbers are okay. They're not prodigious home run hitters in a traditional sense. You want more power from them, certainly, but literally the one guy in the lineup that is being asked to, hey, stand in that box and you better hit homers. Otherwise, we're done. We're in bad shape. It's number 25. It's Anthony Santander. And I can't help but think, I saw him, foul off 2 pitches. One was a changeup, middle, fouls it off in a leverage count. Fastball, 93 miles an hour, middle, fouls it off where he almost struck out. You'll remember it popped in and out of the catcher's mitt. Dingler couldn't hang on to it for the foul tip strikeout.
Right.
You don't see a guy with his talent miss those mistakes, and it's rare you get 2 in 1 at bat, and he still couldn't convert. I just think he's feeling it. He's wearing it a little bit right now because he feels the pressure of what they want and need him to do in order for this team to be successful.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers for you to call. Go back to the text line in a sec, 590-590, name and location. But let's go to the phones. Let's go to Russ in New Jersey. Russ, welcome to Jays Talk. What's on your mind?
I'm in Toronto.
All right.
I just came out, just throwing the Leaf game, but went to the Blue Jay game today. I thought you guys would be talking about Alejandro Kirk's infield single. Come on, that was so. But you know what the most frustrating is? It's obvious. I'm not going to Santander's been terrible. But what's the most frustrating is this division is so there. We all thought, and I keep saying this, that Baltimore was going to be this team. They fired their manager. They're still getting clobbered. Boston's not that good. I don't believe the Yankees are that good. If we got a little bit pitching that we've gotten for the most part, and I know the ERA doesn't prove it, and Barrios today wasn't great, but he beared down with guys on base, and he made the big pitches when he had to, and it's just frustrating because you think, hey, we don't have to be that great to win this division this year. I don't know what it's going to take yet, but I don't see anybody run away. In the past, if you had a record 2 games under 500, 46 games into the year, you would have probably been 8 games, out of the division lead. So they still have a chance to put this together. I know it's definitely frustrating to watch, but it just, you just think like, what could be here? Boston, I know a lot of people love Boston. Barker said on the air he had a friend thought Boston's going to run away with it. I never saw that in Boston. But, you just think, like, what if this team can get the big hits? And, in the first inning we got a little unlucky. Varsho hits a rocket. Varsho hit 3 rockets, and the one he hit the softest ball he hit, he got a double. The other 2, he got robbed. So it's a little frustrating, but listen, I don't know what's going to happen, but there's still hope because this division is not that good.
Before you go, Russ, puck drop of Game 7 is about less than 3 hours. You got a score prediction for us since you're going to the game?
I don't want to talk about it. I've been going to games since Sittler and Lanny and Tiger, and it's amazing. I'll tell you how many former Leafs. Like I speak to Russ Cortnell a lot. He plays for the Leafs. I speak to him a lot. We're still very friendly, and these guys love the Leafs. They just love the Leafs, and there's so many guys pulling for the Leafs. And listen, I think it's going to be you're taking on the Stanley Cup champions. I don't want to jinx it. I think, listen, you know what? Everyone thought we were we were dead after Game 5, and they came up and they played the game. So you're hoping that, Game 7, the Leaf game is a little different. I flew in for Game 6 last year against Boston, and we won, and then we lost the pass in that game. So I don't want to predict. I can't predict. I'll just watch and be very, very nervous tonight.
All right. Well, thank you for the call, Russ. Enjoy the game. Thanks for calling in and making the flight to Toronto. I thought we might get a score prediction, but I guess not, Daniele.
Show Leaf fans. They are very, very superstitious, and they are set up for their condition for disappointment.
I feel it. As someone who's born and raised in Toronto, I understand Russ's his reticence. But okay, let's talk about what he said about the division, because I'm kind of with him in that. Like I have, over the course of a very long period of time, hoped that the American League East would not every single year just consistently be a juggernaut year in and year out. Like, oh, this year it's the Rays that's winning 100 games. Oh, this year it's the Yankees going to the World Series. Oh, this year the Orioles winning 100 games now, right? Like it just you gotta think to yourself, okay, well, when will it be the Jays' turns to experience some kind of success in the American League East with this set of players? I mean, you look at the scoreboard today. I mean, to Russ's point, the Orioles got pummeled again. They're 15 games below 500. I mean, the Jays do lose, but the Rays lose in the Citrus Series to the Marlins down in Miami. I mean, the Red Sox went up 4-0 and then got absolutely pummeled by the Braves. So, like, it's not as though this is the same division in years past, right? You have an opportunity here. But I made this comment yesterday, but the monkey paw has somewhat curled because not only is the rest of the team, the rest of the division not so great, the Jays are also lacking this consistency. So I think it's definitely doable. But I mean, if you're going to be plus minus 2-3 games above or below 500 for the rest of the year, I mean, you got to do a little bit better than that.
Oh, you do. It's inevitable. There's going to be a handful of teams that create a little bit of separation, even if it's not a drastic gulf between teams that are in the wild card picture. There will still be, and we know this, it happens every year, there will be enough separation created. But it is fascinating when it comes to this division in particular that it's always been such a gauntlet, right? It's the powerhouse division in the American League, and you feel like if you're any franchise in this AL East, it's you have bad luck because of the division you play in. But let's call it what it is right now, Show. In 2025, it's kind of mediocre, right? Because there are teams with a lot of question marks, and I know you've probably heard this line a bunch as well. Blair loves to say it all the time, every day almost on the daily, Blair and Barker, where Jeff refers to the best team in the American League East right now. It's Aaron Judge and Max Fried. That's the best team in the American League East right now at this moment. Judge hitting over 400, Max Fried carrying the Yankees pitching staff, and that's kind of it. The Red Sox, I like Barker. I feel very strongly. I think Boston's got a good opportunity to be the team that takes a huge step forward this year in that division. But Baltimore, to say you're stunned with what's gone on there, I think that's kind of an understatement. Did we think there were maybe some flaws? Sure. But did you expect them to be 15 games under 500 through 45 games played? I don't think anybody saw that coming. So the opportunity exists. When's the last time we looked at the totality of this division and you had only one team with a record that is above 500? When did the AL Central all of a sudden replace the AL East as the powerhouse division in the American League? It is wild, and the opportunity does exist to make up ground and to play well against your divisional opponents in 2025. That's why the Jays do have one of the more difficult schedules on paper. Going into the season, it was that way. Strength of schedule was not something that was particularly favorable to them. But they've done okay up until this point. You just feel like, Show, and as somebody that watches and covers the team on a daily basis, there have been a lot of moments where you're saying, man, in 3 months, they might wish they had that game, right? They might wish they got that one. And today's another example of that, where you had plenty of chances with runners in scoring position and even your best hitters at the plate, including in the ninth inning. Yeah. You just need the one big swing. And who knows what the rest of your season looks like. Or when September rolls around, those 5-6 games that you had in April and May, they come in handy. And that's where the Jays find themselves right now. You just hope it doesn't bite you when you get deeper into the schedule.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Jen in Toronto. Jen, welcome to Jays Talk. What's on your mind?
Oh, hi. Same old thing. Yeah, I know the AL East is weak. And the thing is, the Central's so good that if we come second even to the Yankees, it means nothing. But as I said before, Santander, I mean, he can't muster a sac fly, a ground ball, anything. He's been up, it seems, always and always and always. And what are your thoughts on putting them down to 8th or whatever? The man has no confidence, or he's hurt. I don't know what it is. I know he wasn't hurt. Luckily, they have the excuses, shoulder sore. So, but, I mean, he just hasn't done anything. I mean, he's -6 or whatever.
Hey, yeah, Jen, appreciate the call. Thank you so much as always. I mean, look, I mean, if you're talking about Santander, Daniele going on the IL, I suppose that's possible. I kind of wonder if, like, a reason he hasn't gone on the IL is because there are not a lot of other options right now on the team. Like, I suppose you could call Rodon back up. I think he's been hitting a little bit better as of late. I suppose you could get away with doing that because Rodon's probably not going to, as long as Lucas and Barger, who both have been looking pretty good, all things considered. I mean, no one looked great today, so, you know, today notwithstanding, but generally speaking, they both have WRC pluses that are pretty positive for guys of their stature, all things considered. So unless one of those guys really falls off, it would seem unlikely that Rodon gets called back up. But I mean, gosh, the problem with putting Santander in IL, for example, I think is just because there's no one else, it makes that decision so much harder to the point where you kind of have to hit him. But because he's been so poor, I think it begs a valid question. I think Jen got to it to a certain extent that maybe you should try it with someone else just to give him a bit of a blow right now, just to see if that works. I'm not saying he's like overworked or he's poor him because he's getting paid a lot of money, but I mean at the same time, if it's not working, like you got to try something to spark this guy at some point.
It's a valid point. Given what we've seen, I think nothing should be off the table. In saying that, Joe, in terms of bumping him even further down, I do think when the lineup is whole, and by that I mean George Springer is included. Obviously today gets a day off. He pinch hits but doesn't start. I think you're probably going to see him hit 6th in the lineup. I think that's, and I don't know that it's going to get any worse than that.
Varsho and Kirk hitting higher than him, I guess.
Correct. Yeah. Varsho and Kirk hitting higher than him. Springer included there, and then obviously Bo and Vlad. Yeah. I just don't know. Can you justify hitting, Ernie Clement ahead of him? I get it. Based on the numbers, maybe. But it's still Anthony Santander, and you hope at some point it's going to turn, and the bona fides are going to eventually kick in, and he's just going to go back to being the guy that he's been throughout his major league career for the most part, which is somebody that hits 30-plus homers and drives in 90-plus runs, because that's what he's always done. He's never been a guy that hits for average. So we should never look at the on-base percentage or the average. What we should be focused on is he hitting the ball over the fence? Is he doing damage? Because that's the only area that he's been consistent throughout his major league career. It's never that the quality and consistency of the at-bats are great, but it's just that he does a lot of damage because he's a very naturally gifted hitter, and there's a lot of violence when he makes contact with the baseball.
That'd be impressive, though.
That would be impressive as well. But he's got a lot of power, clearly. I did want to, and as Jen was talking, there's one thing that really resonated with me as well. Going back to the 4th inning today, where she joked about, can't even hit a sac fly. He steps up to the plate, Santander. It ends up being an 8-pitch at-bat, his first of 2 on the day, but he has runners on the corners with nobody out and can't find a way to get the ball in the outfield to cash a runner. And when you can't do that and you're seeing that many pitches, great, you work an 8-pitch at-bat. But your job there is literally, let me find any way possible to put this ball in play so that runner from third base with no outs can come home to score, right? And it almost came back to bite them, because I referenced it earlier in our post-game show where I mentioned the 2-out RBI from Clement, where he bails him out essentially.
Sure. Yeah.
And makes it so that the Jays don't walk away with only 1 run in that inning. Instead, they're able to even the score in the bottom of the 4th. That ends up being the only offense they were able to muster all day. And the one other item, I've been sitting on this for a couple days now, Sean. I'm not sure if you caught on to this over the last 48 hours when it comes to Santander. The whole confluence of events leading up to today, where he gets back in the lineup, and the explanations we've been given over the last 48 hours, it's been kind of confusing, perplexing even. You go to Friday, and we know John Schneider has his regular Friday hit that he does with Blair and Barker. He joins them every Friday. So the guys asked him on Friday afternoon, just hours before the opener here against Detroit, ask him about Santander, what's going on, and how he's feeling, and where his mindset is right now. And John's not one to ever kind of sugarcoat things or mislead people. I think maybe that's a better way to put it. And he made no mention of any physical issues or, hey, he's working through things. It was all about how he's working his tail off. He's grinding. We've got all different coaches that are having conversations with him. We're trying different things. No allusion to the fact that there's something bugging him. And then we learn after the game on Friday when he doesn't play, he's got some type of shoulder issue. And then we get an explanation yesterday where it's hip impingement. And now he's playing today. So there's a little bit of contradiction in the messaging in the last 3 days when it comes to his status. And overall, I found that a little bit curious. I thought it was worth raising because they usually are very good with that stuff. And so I don't know if it indicates they don't even have a full read on what's going on, but clearly something is going on in addition to him just not having the level of confidence he needs when he's in the box right now.
See, I will disagree with you in the sense that I do think John Schneider does, generally speaking, he's pretty honest and open. I don't know if I would agree that the team is very open and honest about their communicating of injuries. I would actually say the opposite. I would say Atkins that's Shapiro, because he doesn't really deal with this stuff on a day-to-day basis as far as I understand. But Atkins and the rest of the front office who do deal with this stuff are I would say they're the most opaque front office in maybe all of baseball. They generally speaking do not give you very open updates until the literal last possible second. But I do agree with you, because I remember we did on Friday, we did like a podcast-only edition. Was it Friday? Yeah, a podcast-only edition of Jays Talk, and because of the Leafs game. And I remember on Jays Talk, I questioned at the very beginning of the game, hey, like, it was bizarre that Santander, I know Schneider said in his pregame availability, the one that was on camera, hey, like, we're just giving Santander a blow, or it's a lot of good messaging, but still he's working his tail off. All the things you were saying, he said both to Blair and Barker and to Hazel and Arden and the cameras. And then he doesn't pinch hit at the end of that game in a situation where I think it was Clement who pinch hit at the end of that game with two on and 2 out. And obviously it didn't work out. They lose 5-4. And I remember questioning, like, why didn't they go to Santander? And then the next day you find out he was injured, and you're like, oh, well, they clearly knew this before. So anyways, I do think maybe there's a little bit of a divide between what, like, John Schneider is allowed to say sometimes to the media. And I think a lot of teams are like that, but yeah, I do think the Blue Jays are not, maybe in the middle of the pack, maybe closer towards the bottom of the pack when it comes to transparency around injury when it comes to their players. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones, and let's go to Frank in Barrie. Frank joining us here on Jays Talk. Frank, what's on your mind?
I just a little bit of a defense for Santander.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm not sure where he batted in the lineup for Baltimore those last few years, but they had a pretty good hitting team. Now he comes over to a new team, big salary. I think he's trying too hard, for one thing. And if I'm not mistaken, he's knocked in 16 runs. They brought him over to knock in runs. And Guerrero, he's going to 20. That's only a 4-run difference.
Yeah, hey Frank, I appreciate the call, and I see what you're getting at. You're getting at the idea that, like, it's not all on Santander. I
think he's over trying.
Right.
And one other question, but don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
Your coach took out a guy pitching that was pitching really good, has been pitching good,
right,
to bring in that young guy. I didn't understand that move.
All right, well, thank you for the call, Frank. I appreciate you joining us. Look, I will say, I did not have a quibble with taking out Barrios, because Barrios, and we haven't really talked about Barrios, I suppose, Daniele. And
I think he was actually referencing the Fluharty.
Oh, Fluharty. Okay,
yes,
I thought he said
2 outs in that inning.
I thought he was talking about the starter, because if he's talking about the starter, I have no quibbles to taking out Barrios, because he had really grinded. If he's talking about taking out Fluharty for Braden Fisher, I mean, that is, I got to say, that is ballsy, because Fisher, it's easily the highest leverage moment of Braden Fisher's entire career. And again, I mean, I don't know. He does obviously give up the run. Fluharty, it was an inherited run for Fluharty that goes to his ledger because Fisher gives up the hit. Fisher did come out for the next inning and still got out of it, so definitely positive-ish. But I can understand the frustration because Fluharty has been so consistent. I could also understand people quibbling with taking out Fluharty for Fisher specifically. I mean, you could have, if you wanted to, gone to Jimmy Garcia, who had only thrown I think 8 pitches yesterday. So I think that was definitely a possibility as well.
The only thing if you really want to quibble with anything, and this is maybe nitpicking a little bit, but I'll present it as a caveat, although in the moment it's not like I was terribly upset about it. In going away from Fluharty with 2 outs in the inning, and I think that would have been the 7th, 2 outs in the 7th, they lined it up perfectly where they found the right pocket to try and get him in. Kerry Carpenter, who doesn't hit lefties well at all. He's literally the most drastic splits-driven player in baseball. And if he could ever hit an ounce against left-handed pitching, guy would be an all-star with the level of production he gives you. That's how dynamic of a talent he is in the box. He just can't hit lefties. So it's Kerry Carpenter, it's Gleyber Torres, who's in there as the righty in the 2-hole, and then it was Riley Green. So they were banking on, hey, can you get us through those 3 guys in a clean inning so that we don't have to take you out with Spencer Torkelson stepping up as the cleanup hitter? Well, that didn't happen, obviously, and so they were they were predispositioned already. We're going to make that change regardless if Torkelson gets up there. And I think it's fine. Like, the process was fine. I understand it. The only thing you can quibble with, potentially, is instead of going to Braden Fisher, you go to Jimmy Garcia first.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing you can sort of argue in that spot, because the game was tied. And Braden Fisher comes on, and he inherits a runner in scoring position, and the second pitch he throws is Spencer Torkelson lining a base hit to center field that scores the go-ahead run. The Jays can't muster any other offense, and that's how we end up with our result today, 3-2. So in the highest leverage of moments in this game, I guess technically I'd rather see Jimmy Garcia with the ball in his hand standing on the rubber. He did end up pitching anyway later on. And I was almost the only part where I did get a little irritated, Show, in the ballpark, in between innings, after Braden Fisher retired the final out in the 7th. Jimmy Garcia got up to start throwing in the bullpen. And I was thinking, you could have did it 5 minutes ago, and he could have potentially been in the game, and you lose with one of your best two relievers on the mound. If it happens, it's more defensible than having a guy that's still getting his feet wet pitching in a big spot.
Do you have any thoughts before we go back to the phones on Barrios, just because we're talking about the pitching right now? I mean, again, today was, I suppose, a mixed bag for him, right? 6 innings of work, 8 hits, 2 runs, both of which were earned early in the game. 1 walk, which is something we were talking about in the pregame. 4 strikeouts. Now, 8 hits, right? I mean, I think it was a mixed bag in the sense of command, but I do think the best 2 items for Barrios were today. 1, he did manage to still pitch relatively deep into this game to help out the bullpen, albeit ahead of an off day, but still. And 2, I mean, despite looking somewhat scattered command-wise for a good chunk of the start, he only gave up 2 runs and 1 walk, and none of those runs came after the first inning, right? I mean, today was relatively low for me on the watchability scale for Barrios. But I mean, one aspect of his game I've always enjoyed is that even when he's battling, he somehow always seems to grind out a pretty decent start. I'm sure many people would agree that today was not a pretty start, but that he only allowed 2 runs over 6 innings of work where he didn't have his greatest stuff. I think you probably view that as a win, even though I'm not sure we learned anything new about him today.
I don't think we learned anything new. He gave them a chance to win. And I think for any of the starters in this staff right now, that's what you ask. That's what you're asking of them. Because Show, up until today, they had scored at least 3 runs in 15 of their last 16 games. So now this is the second time in their last 17 ball games where they've failed to score at least 3 runs. Barrios did more than enough. Even without his A stuff, his B stuff even, B+ stuff, he still found a way to battle through the start and give you 6 innings on a day where you needed him to work deeper into the game because your bullpen, not that it's been terribly taxed, but certainly you had a handful of guys that had already pitched on back-to-back days. You needed him to give you at least 6 innings, and he did. He found a way. Now, if I'm going to identify one thing that really kind of concerns me moving forward here with him and has been a developing trend, we've talked about the command and the location, specifically with his fastball, his sinker.
He missed a spot a lot. He did.
He missed a ton of spots.
Yeah.
The one pitch, Show, I would be totally content if I never see him throw it again. I don't like the cutter whatsoever. It's 91, 92.
I knew you were going to say the cutter.
Show, it's 91, 92 miles an hour, and he missed his spot every single time with that pitch.
Yeah.
And I had the good fortune of sitting in your seat today, where you would normally be seated here at the Rogers Center, in between Ben and Chris as they're calling the game, and literally every time he threw the cutter, Chris was just losing his mind because it's 90. He even at one point called it's essentially a BP fastball.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas his sinker at least has the movement, and the four-seamer has more life with the velocity. The cutter doesn't accomplish anything. And we clearly didn't have his best stuff. Spin rate was significantly down compared to any other outing this year. Velocity was right around where he usually is, but the location wasn't great. I'd be totally content. Please don't throw the cutter again. I would tell him, you are now banned from throwing the cutter. Done. Get rid of that pitch.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
The cutter to McKinstry in the top of the first inning, it just didn't cut. And to your point, the four-seam fastball, because it didn't have the movement of a cutter, just looked like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. Guys, as down the middle as you can throw a four-seam fastball, except it was a cutter, essentially. So I'm with you. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones before we take a break. Let's go to Ryan in Innisfil. Ryan, welcome to Jays Talk again. What's up, man?
What's going on, fellas? How are we doing today?
Good. What's on your mind?
Today, I want to just basically talk about, do you guys think that the, for lack of a better term, downfall of the offense and Vladimir and Bo's production pertains to not having enough power in the lineup. I'll give examples of it. In 2021, we had 7 players in the lineup with 20 home runs or more. Vladdy obviously had one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen that year. So maybe power is a contagious thing for him and not something that he can be the sparker of. In 2022, that number went down to 4. He still hit 30 home runs. The next year, it went down to 3, 27 home runs. Then the year after that, it went down to 0, back up to 30 home runs. So I'm not sure if there's something there, but it feels like he's never going to be the leader of it, but he's like the greatest follower you could ever ask for. I'm curious if that's kind of what you think, if you think the struggles he's having are purely just himself, or if you do think that maybe he requires a little spark from teammates. He needs everyone else to be hitting home runs for himself to actually be hitting home runs.
Hey, Ryan, I appreciate the call as always, man. Yeah, I mean, look, in the offseason, Daniele, we talked a lot about how Vladdy could do from seeing better pitches with the idea of having better protection, right? And I think you kind of figured that would come with Anthony Santander. And I don't want to spend the whole episode of this the post-game show harping on Anthony Santander, because I think the point has been well made at this point. I think it's a little bit of column A. It's a boring answer, but it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I think you're not benefiting from getting any protection, but also he's hitting the ball on the ground a lot, right? And again, for me, it's not even the home runs. I think it's just you want to see him. You want to see the hard contact, but you also want to see him lift the ball with that hard contact. I would settle, I've said this many times, for Bo too, to a lesser extent from Bo, but certainly it applies to both of them. I would settle for hard contact and doubles into the gap just as much as I would settle for home runs from Vladdy. Yes, home runs are sexy and chicks dig the long ball and all that stuff. Yes, 1,000%. But you're not even, quote unquote, seeing that from Vladdy. And it's funny to harp on him because today he had 1 hit and 2 walks, 1 for 3. I believe he extended his on-base streak to 19 games, which is pretty incredible. So if you again, I said this to Jesse yesterday. If you said player X walked twice and had a hit in a 1 for 3 day, he's batting .288 after his 46th game of the season and has a 19-game on-base streak, you would say, great, sign me up for that. Give me more of that. But when you replace player X with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., it sounds a lot less sexy.
That's the key. The name on the back demands higher expectations. The expectations are higher, and it's not even just because of the name on the back and the lineage and even the track record for him as a big leaguer. It's the fact that just a short 3 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was, he signed a $500 million extension, right? There is pressure to perform. There are expectations. You are being relied upon to deliver like an Aaron Judge, like a Yordan Alvarez, like a Shohei Ohtani, like a Juan Soto. That's where you are now. That's where you are. You are in that same ballpark in terms of what the expectations are. Fair or not, that is where you are based on your positioning in the sport from a financial perspective. You better be that. Otherwise, we can't just evaluate you as the guy hitting 7th in the order that's hitting a .285 and has 3 homers, but he's getting on base. And like you said, we strip it all away and say, guy went 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Pretty good day. It doesn't apply in the same fashion for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And I do agree with your answer and your point. I do think it's a little bit of column A, column B with this. I've always been, kind of superstitious with Vladdy when it comes to where he hits in the order. Where has he been the most productive hitter during his? It's in the 3 hole. Yeah. The stats don't lie. And I know people say, that's just, that's kind of, that's unpredictable. That's not necessarily, there's no rhyme or reason for it. As the khakis would look, they can't find a metric to help you identify why he hits better in the 3 hole than the 2 hole. But all I know is there's enough of a difference there, particularly in terms of raw power production, extra base hits and home runs, that for me, I would feel compelled to hit him 3rd, right? And part of the allure of having an Anthony Santander when they brought him in was you finally felt like maybe we actually have a cleanup hitter. Maybe the Blue Jays have actually answered that fill-in-the-blank question, who is the cleanup hitter for this team? And yet we haven't seen him hit, technically, cleanup in the 4-hole. Now, last year he moved around to answer, and I think it was Frank that had asked the question earlier, just
Baltimore?
in terms of, just of where he was. So, his time was pretty evenly split between the 2, 3, 4-hole. And even the 5-hole. He had a lot of regular at-bats in the 5-hole, but he was a guy that always hit 3rd or 4th. Yeah. So less with him in terms of, is there a comfortability with a specific spot because it was more dispersed? But for Vladdy, it's pretty clear. Last year, when he had a great year, hit over 300, had 30 homers again and 100 RBI, where did he hit? He hit 3rd.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I mean, look, if you're already moving things around because of the struggles of Anthony Santander, and it's not that Vlad is struggling, because again, hitting 288 is pretty darn good, but that he's struggling to hit for power. If you are moving things around already, I mean, gosh, I said this a million times before the season started, as long as they're not married to locking guys into